everyone to the SMITE Challenger Circuit here on a beautiful Thursday morning in Alpharetta, Georgia. My name's Gormizer, and of course joining me on the desk for this set, and then a little bit later in a different set, it's Chili.
That is true.
That's how schedules
it's
work.
at least two sets.
It's
so
at
you guys,
least two sets.
You guys are in for some great desk energy, I guess.
Okay, that was like great.
I mean, like great games,
SMITE,
of course,
yeah,
but like I'm
great
talking
plays.
about just this banter alone
Great
is
banter.
also great.
Absolutely super awake, super. Everybody, get your coffee while you're out there. We're going to take a peek at the schedule while you can. I said that as someone who doesn't drink caffeine.
Yeah, you did tell me you
That's
haven't
wild.
had caffeine for like 3 years.
In years. I literally have not consumed caffeine.
Which is
I don't know
absurd.
why I said to get your coffee. Maybe that's why I'm so sleepy. Gladiators and Wargs are going to be the teams that we're looking at first here. Ravens, Scorpions coming on after that. And then tomorrow morning, you can tune in to watch the Mambo take on the Ferryman. A lot of fun, I think, to be had here in Europe. And, of course, after the way things shook out last week, right, with the standings, everybody, you're going to have 3 teams that are up 1-0. 2 teams that are down, or 3 teams, math, that's how it works, that are down there towards 0 and 1. You can see that here in the standings. A couple of wins that were interesting, I think, last week that were at least eye-catching in my eyes, and that was Hex Mambo, to me, being able to come in and have a much more solid performance. Then again, after their performance at Masters, I guess it's not too unexpected.
Right.
But the Scorpions, the Ravens, being up 1-0 as well, tied for first technically right now. And then both the Wargs, the Gladiators, the teams we're about to watch here, being 0 and 1. So one of these teams is unfortunately going to go down to 0 and 2, which I think would leave them as the only team at the bottom. The other one will go 1 and 1, and depending on how things go in that second set today, they'll either have a second team being 0 and 1, or one team being 1, or 2 more teams being 1 and 1. A lot of fun that can shift up, and only a few weeks, Trelly, to try and figure all of this out for them. And I think that's where a lot of this fun is going to be coming into, right? Because you want to be in the top, I believe, 4, top 6. I can't remember. That's only 6.
There's
so
only
top
6,
4.
so
Yeah,
top
that makes way
4.
more sense. Top 4 plus the SOC teams that we'll find to make it to that event in December to try and qualify for Worlds. And all of that is starting throughout this phase, right? You want to make sure that you're doing well. You want to try to bounce back. If you're the Wargs here, who we'll look at first, this is the time to start finding these wins to turn things around. They went through some interesting changes, as we highlighted last week, right? Bevy Monsters joined this team for solo. Kha'Zix has moved from solo all the way over there into support. And it's definitely changed up the dynamic for them. Sarpei joins them in the jungle. But they look pretty solid, right? I mean, going up against a team like Hex Mambo is not an easy feat, and that's what they had to deal with last week. But I think despite the loss, they still looked good.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point because number one, standings extremely important right now on the road to Worlds. So you don't want to find yourself in that bottom epsilon. You want to make sure that 0-2, I imagine, not an option that either of these teams would like to fall to because you don't have that much time. Right?
And at that point, you might not even you might have to win every single set after that if you fall down 0-2.
You probably have to hope that some teams are also losing in that
Yes.
sense, right? So yeah, it's head-to-head stuff like that. But the going up against Hex Mambo, I think, is one of those. If you're falling 0-1, week number 1 to Hex Mambo, that makes a little bit more sense. So I think the Wargs, they're not going to weigh on that one too long, right?
Yeah.
They're going to say, we played great early game. Hex Mambo really does succeed in the later. We don't have to weigh on that too much. Now they're up against the Gladiators, who also sitting at 0-1 at the moment. This is a win I think that both these teams have to be able to grab, right? Because again, standings extremely important. You don't want to be falling to just a terrible start because like I said, Worlds is on the mind of all of these teams at the moment. So definitely an extremely important set here for both these squads.
And like you said, playing up against the Gladiators, right, for today, a team that goes down, I believe, to the Scorpions last week, if I remember correctly. Not as many changes, but still some changes going into this phase. But a lot of it is going to be more or less the team that you remember, right, being able to come in and play. I'm excited to watch Calvin. I know Calvin personally has always been one of the supports that I like out of Europe. But definitely a change of pace, right? We got to see, this team play, earlier this year with Rotwin. And Rotwin then show up and sub in for Trix Tank with the Mambo at this last Masters. And it's definitely a change of pace. Rotwin is a phenomenal support player. And so we'll have to see where Calvin is going to stand on that. Mastkill as well, I think one of the most well-known players for the SCC, especially in Europe. considering they started this year with a pentakill in game number 1. So it kind of keeps us on our toes to see what the Gladiators are going to bring.
Yeah, that's a good point. Whenever you come out swinging like that, you got to be bringing something special for the rest of the league. But falling down 0-1 to the RU Scorpions again, it's one of those things where it's like the Scorpions were just looking real clean, and it was a back and forth set. So neither one of these teams, I think, are happy sitting at the bottom of the standings, right?
Yeah.
They've been fighting for quite some time, as you said, lots of roster shakeups and things of that nature. So I don't imagine either one of these teams are sitting here ready to roll over. Right?
There were not a lot of unscathed teams roster-wise
I think there was
into this
2
phase.
total out of 4. Those aren't good odds affected. There was some sort of roster drama between everyone except for 2 teams, which is Mambo, and then if you're not switching, if you're in first place, then you're probably not switching up anyways because you're feeling pretty confident in your performance.
And honestly, the only change they could have made would have been said, hey, you know what? We did really, really good at Masters. Maybe Robwin's the main support, but it's are you going to bench Trix Tank? You going to try to bench Trix? No, they didn't do anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how they do throughout this phase, expecting great things out of them. But with the Wargs and the Gladiators, we can find out who is going to start climbing ahead right now as we jump into picks and bans for game number 1. The Wargs are going to be your first pick team. And Trelly, this is what was interesting because, looking towards last week, it was a different dynamic than I expected coming into it. There was, we were a week after the SBL. I was kind of curious how much of SBL meta is going to trickle down into your, what are we going to see that maybe resembles ranked or anything like that? And the answer was kind of none of it. Most of it was very similar to the last time we saw the SEC teams play. For better or worse, right? Some of the teams that were successful had changed things up. Some of the teams that hadn't or were struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I do expect to see a little bit of a different shakeup here in week number 2. You've got to sit back and watch the Pro League for a bit. You've got to, try out your own things in scrims. And now I think we're starting to see the product in that. The Shibalanke ban, for example, just something that, I think a lot of teams have thought have been annoying, but never something that's been first pick, first ban status. The Ganesha also seems to me like just a target ban at this point against Calvin. They don't want to deal with it, so they're going to be able to take that one away. And Chernobog and Heimdall, that is actually just normal, right? Especially in Europe, Heimdall, one of the strongest and safest ADCs that these guys love to go to whenever there's a first pick situation, not too many bad matchups. But something that's been extremely powerful even in the SPL is going to be that Hades that the Wargs are going to lock in. More often than not, it goes over to solo, but we have seen it played in mid from time to time. So I'm going to hold it in solo for Bevy, but we can also just see, hey, maybe Itori takes it over to mid.
That was one of the ones that I expected to see more of last week and was surprised that it didn't show up as often. Granted, 6 bans, 4 games played, so he was pretty prominent throughout week number 1. Did not win a whole ton. And so it'll be interesting to see how this is going to work out for the Wargs. But like you said, it's a different dynamic, especially in the world that we're in right now. Normally, Terra specifically feels very European in pick style most of the time. But also when you get rid of Yamoja, the Guan Yu's been in that conversation, but Terra's been up on that conversation of healers people are going for. So it's great in this case for the Gladiators because guess what they got? They got Terra and then they still got the Guan Yu. It feels like they've definitely been paying a lot of attention towards what the SBL's been playing.
Yeah, I think so as well. But the Fenrir for the Wargs is going to be great at grabbing the beats for this Hades ult, right? The Pillar of Agony, it gets a lot better when you can get those beats down and just let this Hades get to the back line and just use that ultimate to its full extent. So I think that's going to be pretty solid, as well as the Merlin is just going to provide a fair bit of late game burn, no pun intended, and it's going to help out, whenever you are able to get to 20, 25 minutes in the game, that sort of thing. But second wave of bans, Mercury and Kepri.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about the Mercury, because if I see the Kepri ban, I look at what the Wargs have, and it's okay, Hades, Merlin, Fenrir probably in the jungle. I think if I remember correctly, they played Fenrir last week, or someone played Fenrir last week, and it looked way better than I expected it to look. And so I see Kepri, and I'm like, okay, makes sense, support. Then the Mercury feels like, okay, well, maybe that's a Fenrir support, not going into the jungle. It feels almost as if they maybe tried to hedge their bets, but now that we see the Fafnir, maybe didn't hedge them in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up being a wasted ban, but it could have forced them into that Fafnir selection at that point. So I don't think we have to weigh on it too much.
I'm going to weigh on it all the time. Well, ultra weigh.
We don't have to, but we can if you want to.
No,
You're in charge. As we see the Fafnir Jingwei lane come through. That screams to me this late game composition. I mean, we've seen it a few times. I know Toddy likes going to this Jingwei as well. Just you're not going to get lane pressure. You're going to be able to hard carry late game. With the fact that you're sort of forced into like a different style of build, like a Dev Gauntlets or like a Bloodforge start, it usually means that you're sitting back for a bit. But if you're throwing up some of that duo lane pressure, you'll be fine late game.
Well, we'll jump into game number 1 now. See who will be able to take this one and at least get themselves a nice advantage in this set. Maybe even close it out 2-0 if they start off on the right foot. I will also give mention to the Gladiators because you're looking at this. I mean, Trelly. This looks like an SPL draft to me, right? Like, I mean, if you just supplanted this and dropped it onto any team in the SPL, it's not that far-fetched. With the Hou-Yi,
this looks like the Dragons.
Kind of feels like it's going to be more Dragons, right? Especially, yeah, with the Yu Huang as well. Feels like it's going to be a little more Dragonsy.
Yeah.
But I also really like the Wheelish. And the reason I mention that is because, I mean, look at that. Everybody except the Merlin is going to have a pull.
Yeah, that's not going to be too fun. And another thing is, like, Spudio, it's a very integral part of the kit. So sort of like Yamoja in the sense of, like, you really do want to knock yourself up so you can dash away, and you're not going to want to do that whenever Mass Kill's around.
Mass Kill shows up. Yo, so you trying to disengage?
yeah. You say you're getting
Did you want to
back
get out
in.
of here?
Yeah, it's not going to happen in that sense. And it looks like everyone going to pick up beats except for Kha'Zix. So Kha'Zix going to have to hold on to those leaps pretty costingly, right? Whenever you're the Fafnir, you never really want to pull the first jump. You wait for the dragon, and then you pull the second jump, and then that's going to be some solid engage. But it's going to be all about Mass Kill's positioning. Are you getting like a blink at level 12? Or are you going to be the first one initiating? You have one knock-up on your team. I mean, it's not going to be too easy to try and set up late game, but as long as Mass Kill's going for the leaps in general, should be just fine as this game goes through.
Curious as to where pressure will be in this game, and specifically where it could be bought, right? Hades has been controlling, kind of bullying, I would argue lately, although when I look towards the junglers right now, Wheelish able to get a little hands-on. I mean, at level 5, any pressure that you put on, because, I mean, you mentioned it with Kha'Zix specifically not having beads, an easy target. But Spudio, as you mentioned, with the knockups and disengage, Sarpe with the leap, Hades with his dash. Not a lot of safety for these guys outside of those beads. So looking over towards Mass Kill, maybe a level 5 if it goes that pace. Otherwise, it's Hades just a lane bully. I mean, he's been rude. And, Guan Yu, a lot of prot shred, good clear, good healing, but definitely feels like with the way jungle pressure has been going as of late, I wouldn't be surprised if the right-hand side of the map has some attention thrown its way.
Yeah, definitely, and especially because you're up against a Hades, so the matchup is not great. I mean, Lestemix is probably going to end up maxing the dash just because you're constantly getting your Tolu Assault just canceled out by the silence, and it gets so annoying. You've already talked about how much of a bully this Hades can be. I was going to say, maybe Mass Kill might start some bullying at these back camps. Sarpe level 2, not too much damage up against a level 3 Oelix, so I was going to have to give those up in the process. But then, yeah, the lane on the right side of the map. This is probably where Mass Kill's going to want to chill. Try and set up for kills whenever possible. Try and alleviate some of that pressure because Bevy, as you said, is going to have a free time.
Yeah.
Just clearing wave. I mean, there's not too much pressure that's really going to be coming through. And with the Pillar of Agony and the beads, you got a lot of ways to just not really care about Lestemix in lane. So I do imagine if Mass Kill wants to get aggressive, it's either trying to find Sarpe in the jungle because you got a decent matchup into the Fenrir, and or looking for some solo ganks just to try and get ahead.
I mean, there was a moment there on the back camps where like Mass Kill was, not just invading, but like held the larger Harpy for a little bit, looking over at Sarpe like, maybe I go for the fight. Just like a solid like 10, well, not 10 full seconds, maybe 5.
Like 7.
Yeah, but like where it just held it there and looked like maybe I'd go for it. Maybe I go for it. And like I could almost imagine the comms of, can you kill him? Like, can you actually kill him?
Like, guys, I might have a kill here.
Because like if you can actually kill him, okay, but otherwise, dude, you gotta chill out. You're level 3. And then chill out, right? They hang out, they get the farm. Like you said, small invade, small steals, small experience lead. But it should be level 5 relatively soon here for Mass Kill. Quite a bit of ways to go if you're Fenrir. Already ticked over for a couple of members, the solo laners, as well as in mid lane. So there it is for Mass Kill. And I want to keep my eyes on that Wheelish as to where they're going to be going. Also, something we've been talking about a ton lately, And not necessarily in kill pressure, although I will give a shout out because this one I noticed yesterday when I was updating my spreadsheet. With Bera with the most first blood so far in Phase 3. So for some reason, duo lane first blood's popping off again. And it's because of this duo pressure, right? We were going to, we've been talking a lot about Scepter. That plus having an experience farm on the other side, going for purple buff invades. There's been a lot more focus on this side of the map just from the duo lane. No junglers have to be involved. They just want to get involved with each other a little bit more.
So you're saying Bear has the most first bloods like claimed? He's the one who got
he's
the
gotten
kills.
them.
Okay, I thought you were saying he gets first blooded the
No.
most, and I was like, that just seems rude to bring up. Like Bear the most first blooded in the whole league at this point. But yeah, there is a lot of brawling over on that side. But look at this, Bevy just solo invading, just does not care. I mean, there's no sort of gank potential. I mean, you get to go in, use Pillar of Agony. It seemed like Sarpe was on the way, but no relics got used at the point, no ultimates down either. So a decent ultimate, just trying to show some of the safety that Bevy Monster has on this pick. There's just not much that Listemics can do, and as long as Maskill doesn't have that first mace item online either, you're going to be dashing in pretty freely, trying to get aggressive at that buff. But as you said, lots of pressure on the duo lane side, trying to balance back and forth this Interceptor, see which one of these supports is going to be able to be aggressive for the next 2 minutes. Like, you get the Scepter, and then you can just run. You can just be like, I'm just going to walk at you. Even if I don't have my abilities, you're still getting ticked by the shocky damage. It's just nice to see that Kha'Zix got it this time, because we saw how annoying Calvin was able to be with just a little bit of extra HP regen and that damage.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot to handle, right? Terra, in the right circumstances, now with the Mana Core spike picked up, just becomes obnoxious for your team. And for the other team, trying to burn through it becomes a lot to handle. Maybe some trouble for Sarpe. Ooh, that stun just off the mark. What a good bounce, though.
I was watching it. I was like, is there a way that this bounces 3 other times and goes back and somehow catches Sarpe?
It's one of those things where it's like, jungle geometry is always very interesting when you're trying to aim off of it, but the fact that got a triple bounce at all and that it was that close was really impressive to me. Toddy being able to bounce it off the wall into the pillar. So that looked incredible. And it's going to be things like that, right? Sarpe has beads, so in an instance like that, probably just burns those and gets out. Maybe it's not a first blood attempt. But then if your beads are down as Fenrir, all of a sudden Maskill has the easiest target in the world, right? All of a sudden Sodos knows where dueling dragons get thrown out. Lestemix knows that a stun is maybe going to be a little more impactful during a gank than it would have been otherwise. So it could have opened up a conversation for the next couple of minutes. Instead, everyone still has their beads on the side of the Wargs. I saw Calvin over on the right-hand side of the map. Looked like they might be going for something outside of just securing some experience away from Bevy Monster. Not resulting in too much.
Yeah, once Listemics actually decides to rotate into these fights at the moment, not too much anti-heal to deal with it. I mean, the Guan Yu with the Fey Blessed Hoops is something that has been extremely strong in all metas as of recent. The item is getting a little nerf, but not quite yet. So, whenever you have this amount of sustain, you got to look towards the anti-heal. At the moment, the Wargs not too concerned about it, just the Tainted Steel from Bevy Monster, which is going to help in lane. But like I said, once that rotation comes through, the Guan Yu, you're going to want some anti-heal for that. So I do imagine Itori probably goes into a Divine Ruin in the next 2 items or so. Sarpe looks like going for a Hydras or a Transcendence, so that's not going to be on the menu for quite some time. It's really just relying on Bevy Monster, right? As long as the Tainted Steel's around, you're going to get some of that anti-heal, but you got to match the rotation pressure in that sense, because if Listemics rotates out first, if Listemics shows up to these team fights, like at a Gold Fury, for example, a little bit early, that healing really is going to start to add up. It's difficult to try and find a pick whenever that Guan Yu is going to be around, so I don't envy the situation that the Wargs are in. But it looks like they're just sitting back and stacking up some items here. 3 stacking items thus far. And if Sarpe goes for that, actually 4. If Sarpe goes for that Transcendence, could be 5. Just all stacking items saying we're playing for late game. We don't want to get too aggressive early on. We're up against an Awilix that really does excel in that early game presence. We're going to back off for the next 5-10 minutes or so until we can get aggressive.
Honestly, and again, this is maybe commentary on the meta style of play. Might have to hold that thought. Calvin picked up by Sarpe, finally pulled back, and that's going to be the damage from Spudio plus the Merlin burn. They had enough, and it's first blood towards the Wargs. A little bit of an ult over in solo. Don't know that it's going to result in too much here against Listemics, but good pressure nonetheless. 4-man assault on left. to kill off Calvin.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you got a target without beads and you're a Fenrir, and of course Masskill's not around, you're gonna be just fine going for that Ragnarok and just setting up for your team. The shell wasn't even used there. Calvin pretty much guaranteed dead once the double dash is down and the Fenrir is still able to grab you. So unfortunate for the Gladiators. The Wargs are gonna pick up first blood, and there's a target on Sarpei's back now because the beads were used, the Ragnarok was used. I imagine Masskill has a level lead in the jungle, wants to try and find this Fenrir if possible, trying to force some sort of engagement. But at the moment, sitting in base. So I don't imagine Sarpei is going to be in too much danger in the near future. And you just got to stall out for about a minute 40 or so until those beats come off cooldown. And then you can get aggressive again. And honestly, possibly just look for Calvin. I mean, a fair bit of HP with the Manticore spikes, but you're still, I mean, we've just been proving it. You can still get bursted through all that. I mean, if you get Ragnaroked into a Merlin combo, you're probably dying regardless.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage in a small area. If you get locked in anywhere near a Merlin, that's just bad news bears. Unfortunately for things like the Gold Fury and the Pyromancer and the Fire Giant, they can't really escape it. And that's normally where we talk about Merlin, but I think like the illustration of what he can do to a god, especially someone who's relatively tanky as well, can be a lot. Surprised to see though, I mean, first blood goes their way. Small lead, admittedly, for Spudio. You get the assist for Kha'Zix, so you get that. And the gold definitely leaning their favor, almost 1,400. Not a lot of experience, really, though. Everything that they have in duo is made up for by the solo side of the Gladiators. Now it's going to be made up for, and then some. I love this. The body blocking for the hammer forces the dash. Just make sure that it's impossible for Kha'Zix to feel comfortable trying to steal that. The Gladiators are going to then make up for a lot of what was ailing them before and at least close a chunk of that gold gap down.
I wanted to see that fight. I mean, Spudio and Toddy both extremely weak there. I'm not going to be able to find any sort of kill. I mean, they traded ultimates. They're almost mirrored builds in the sense, but Spudio does have that execution, which is going to be a lot more damage. But take a look at this. Calvin is on the way over, passed over a ward, so it looks like Spudio very aware of the presence of the enemy support, not going to put himself out of position when there's a Terra that's close by and can catch your dash. The important thing, holds on to the relics for both of them. So it looks like Beads is going to be available. Kha'Zix does find the stun on a Toddy, but with the dive bomb available, I don't imagine any more aggression on this side of the map. It looks like a possible purple buff invade, but they're a little early. That's not coming up for a bit.
Yeah, and plus, like you said, there's Beads already, so chilling. If you're Toddy, right, you're fine. Actually, I admire holding on to him as long as they did, because feels like in a moment like that, especially with a Jingwei so close by, it's a little 50-50, kind of iffy as to whether or not you're going to feel comfortable and confident in holding on to those. Make sure that you have them. But even smarter not to use them, because otherwise you're a free target for the Fenrir. And so far, it's just been a very, I don't want to call it cerebral game. It has been a lot of macro play, things like that, but like those little interactions of making sure that you don't use your relics just because you can, not dropping ults just because you can, except in solo lane because they literally can just throw out whatever they want. But I think being able to kind of keep each other on their toes so far, it's been very fun to watch. A little slower for the Wargs than I maybe anticipated, but a lot of that has just been because there's a counter pick on the other side and 3 people with beads that have not been touched. I think that Sarpei is gonna have a rough time in the jungle just getting things started.
Yeah, I think so as well. And again, I think because Sarpei's up against Masskill on this Awilix, there's just a lot of early presence you have to watch out for. If you don't have good ward vision, your aggression can quickly be turned against you. You go for an Unchained, you look for a nice jump stun over a wall, and then you just get like pulled in, and you're like, this is not what I intended. Like this was not the aggression I wanted. I want to back off. So the fact that Sarpei found that pick on the Calvin in the jungle, just right time, right place at the moment. So I think that's the aggression they were looking for. Now it's just, hey, can we get some relics down? Like, whose beads are down? When can I find another ult? It doesn't look like any sort of pressure over towards like Gold Fury's coming anytime soon, because Spudio and Toddy have been fighting. Not too much going. It's just trade ult for ult pretty much, unless like some crazy bounce happens or Spudio gets some lucky crits. It's not going to be happening too often. So I imagine just after the Pyromancer went down, we're going to see the AFK farming. It looks like Sarpei is heading over to try and find out Lestemics, but you got the horse. I mean, with Cavalry Charge available, Guan Yu's not worried about the Ragnarok either. It's just not a good time to try and find some gang presence.
Yeah, it's just so. I mean, there's not a lot of places for for either of the junglers to feel solid getting involved. Maybe right side now for the Wheelish since the beads are down for Bevy, but like that's it. That's the only opportunity you have. So kills still read 1-0, 14 minutes in. About 2,000 gold, or at least approaching it here for the Wargs. So really good farm game on them. Experience isn't necessarily getting anywhere out of control. Again, a little bit of a lead, I believe, was in the duo lane, made up for primarily by the jungle, but also solo lane over on the other side. Toddy finally had to use beads. So while nothing will come of this engagement, I expect Sarpei to start spending a suspicious amount of time over here. Might not even have to wait too long. Sarpei looping around the tier 1 tower. Kaz is going to jump in to take aggro. There's going to be the stun, immediate rush in, and an easy kill for the Wargs right under the tier 1.
Yeah, as well as getting the tier 1 tower, that's going to be pretty massive. But what happens after the fact? Are they just going to group up, push down this tier 2? Do they go for the Gold Fury? It looks like because Calvin is here, that's not going to be the immediate call. I'm looking, and it looks, yeah, Bevimonte is coming over, so this could turn into a Gold Fury pull pretty early on. There is going to be a lot of damage with that Fafnir transformation. The Dueling Dragons, a little bit off the mark here, and unless Calvin can step up quickly, this might be a free 50-50 for the Gold Fury.
Well, Calvin's trying. The burn is good, though, on the Wargs.
Oh,
and
my.
The Glads get it? Are you kidding me? Calvin! He walks up. I had no hope for him.
126.
And it's the crushing earth itself that steals that one away. What feels like a surefire runaway for the Wargs is stripped right out from under their noses.
I mean, I'm glad I called it a 50-50, but I didn't mean it. Like, that's one of those situations where you're like...
Nobody really thought that was a 50-50 going into it.
Yeah, I was like, unless Calvin steps up, it's going to be a 50-50. Calvin goes, mine, walks away, no sort of pressure. So that's going to be a little bit unfortunate. The gold certainly still in favor of the Wargs for the time being, but now it looks like Sarpei trying to get aggressive.
Yeah, they want a little bit more, but Sarpei eats so much damage, forced to fall out, uses both relics, gets mass kills, beads, dies for their trouble, though now. It's going to be the engage. Bevy Monster, Pillar of Agony keeps Calvin locked in, and you're not stealing any more objectives anytime soon. Calvin put down into the ground.
Yeah, now it looks like Pyromancer is going to be pulled here. Mass kills nearby. I was going to say, no way you're getting close at this point. The blink's down, the bead's down, and I think Toddy making the right call here. You're not going to be able to match that rotation pressure. You can't back and fly over to Pyromancer like Toddy can. So, I mean, like Spudio can. So just go for that tier 1 tower and left. Get some extra gold in your pocket. The Warg's still going to be up, but that gold lead is dwindling a bit. 1,500. It was 2K. I think the XP is really going to start to be a little bit more impactful early on, just because the gold lead's not that egregious. But you're letting this Jingwei get the fast track to late game, and that's never what you want, right? I mean, whenever a Jingwei can, just sit safely in lane and show up to team fights, with a full kin size, with a full execution, or that sort of thing, that's when the fights start to get a little spotty. So I'm looking towards mass kill. Can the Awilix get to this Jingwei, sort of stop some of the effectiveness of this Jingwei in team fights? Looks like that's the call, because right now, Spudio's looking a little worse for wear.
Unfortunately, not able to close the gap. No, there they are. Wow. And Spudio almost turns it around. They're still going to be able to get a kill, though. Sarpei put some pressure on in mid. Toddy. So, it's one of my favorite things that it will ever happen, right? When even the game thinks, okay, this person should die.
Yep.
And Toddy gets so low, is one hit away. I mean, you misstep, backwards into the purple buff, it aggroes, you're dead. You steps into the wrong spot near the lane, the minions aggro, you're dead. But Toddy manages to live through that one and keep both relics, Trelly. That's so wild to me.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part, I think, because now it looks like there's no aggression on that side of the map. Lastemics will get picked up, but the Warg just looks like a little bit of a messed up fight here. Bevy Monster goes in, doesn't get too much. The beads down from Lastemics, but now Calvin taking a ton of damage.
Yeah, has to use his ult. It's not going to get him out of there. Calvin taken down 5-2. Wargs leading in the kills. And with this much pressure over on the right-hand side, I mean, they have burn. It doesn't feel like the confidence, though, to pull a Fire Giant just yet.
Yeah, they don't have the 3-in-1 Spudio on that side of the map, so it looks like just let the Jingwei go back over. Maybe farm a little bit longer, take over to like level 18, level 19, then possibly go for some burn onto the Fire Giant. But Primal Fury was going to be up in about 2 minutes or so. That could just be the target that they're after. The Wargs, you know, they still have that 2K Gilded that they've been balancing sort of back and forth. But, you know, again, Maskill got a pretty important shutdown onto this Jingwei, despite the fact that Toddy almost dies in that process. Bevy Monster's going to get the beads pulled, but it's just the beads. Bevy's full HP at that point, so you get the ultimate from Wheelix, you get the blink, you lose your beads in the process, but you'll be able to full heal off the wave, no problem. Unless there's going to be a fight on the right side of the map, or maybe that was just ready to get pulled for the Primal Fury, right? Let's get the beads down early. Now Bevy Monster can't like dash in. You have to just use a relic to make sure you're engaging, and if you do dash in, you're going to be pulled, and that's no fun. But imagine like Maskill just pulls Bevy in to the whole team, and then you just get a massive pillar of agony. That's also like not a great play either. So will those beads being down end up the Warg's demise? I don't imagine so, but Bevy will have to watch the positioning for at least a couple minutes.
Beads, are they an asset or a hindrance for Bevy Monster? They're an asset as long as they're up. We'll see what ends up happening. A little bit of an invade, or at least invade attempt on the Greater Scorpion. Doesn't result in much. This is always that awkward like portion of the game, because you know if you're the Wargs, even if you're the Glads, you're not in a great spot to try and pull the Fire Giant over the other team, but there's no other like crazy neutral objective, and they're just good enough at defending on either side that no one's got like a distinct map advantage. But now that Primal Fury is going to be spawning, a little bit of poke thrown Calvin's way might be a difference maker. Big rotations coming through from the Wargs. Bevy Monster's on their way as well. There's going to be a teleport from the Guan Yu to the tier 2 in mid. Primal Fury's low. Wargs are going to be able to get that. Plus, a nice delivery, but Sarpei, takes too much damage during their ult, and they don't get the turnaround kill, so now it's jungle for the Fury. Listimix tries to get something going for their team. A lot of shred works out well, and Toddy is able to pick up Bevy Monster. A 2 for Fury trade. Feels like it's starting to fall out of worthwhile for the Wargs.
Yeah, I mean, if the Gladiators do exactly what they're doing, where they back and immediately sprint towards that Fire Giant, it is definitely going to be in favor of the Glads. Now it's going to be on the 3 members of the Wargs that are still alive. Tori, Kha'Zix, and Spudio have to try and do some early damage, maybe slow the aggression over on the right side of the map until Bevy can come in. There's going to be no teleport available, so even at that point, not going to be too easy to try and defend this Fire Giant. They've got decent damage. The burst confirm also probably on their side, but they're going to start this pull, and Kha'Zix is the first one in to try and stop this one out.
I like hovering around this. We've seen plenty of Fafnir hammer steals, so maybe Kha'Zix can add to that list. Hammer just used, Spudio has to use the ult for the disengage. Fire Giant sitting around 1/3 HP. Kha'Zix leaps away. Doesn't want to go for any more here. Doesn't want to risk their life for it. Gladiator's going to get the Fire Giant, get the Pyromancer to boot. Plus, they got a Trebuchet in mid. Feels like everything's coming up red for them.
Yeah, definitely in favor of the Gladiators. Now, they've got their FG, they got Pyro, and they're going to let that Trebuchet push down mid for a bit. Grouped as 5 as well. I mean, you can see Tori's over and left trying to get as much farm as possible, but the rest of the Gladiators, 5 strong, are looking for some tier 1 towers, this time in mid for the time being. I mean, there are some key relics down. Sarpei can't really get aggressive at the moment without Blink for 30 and Beats for a full minute. Even with the Magi's Blessing, you still don't want to be jumping in too aggressively whenever Maskill is nearby in the fight. So probably a smart call to grab that tower, back up, spend a little gold, and then group up and start going for these tier 2s. It's not free by any means, right? I mean, even with Fire Giant, this is not... I mean, the gold lead is not there. So it's not going to be just like, oh, we get tier 2 towers now, we get this 5k gold lead for free. That's definitely not going to be how it works. It is going to have to be a slow push, and a calculated one at that, because just because you have Fire Giant, the gold lead isn't so out of control that the Gladiators can just W key is what I was trying to say. Double Q, what does that even mean? W key down and try and grab these
You're
tier
telling
2s.
them they're going to hit the QQ instead of a GG?
Yeah.
It's toxic, bro. The double Q. No, yeah, well... Oh, man. Oh, I was thinking of Proxy Q. I was like, there's someone who had a name like that. It was Proxy Q. For those of you who don't know who Proxy Q is, it's a long time ago EU player. There you go. Yeah, look him up on the SMITE esports wiki. As of now, we're looking at the Gladiators. Like you mentioned, though, not massive lead, 400 now in their favor, as they start to pick up a little bit here and there. These towers are going to matter, right? And to the point you made, where it might not be a Phoenix, and honestly, it's not even free tier 2s at that. But any gold that you get here for the Gladiators will be like the first time that you've been in the lead all game. And you've been doing well in experience. You can even see that now, level 20 in the jungle versus 19 on the other side, 17 to 16 for the supports. A little behind there for Sotos, but I don't know that Sotos cares too much about not being level 20. We'll see if those Dueling Dragons connects, but a lot of pressure around this tier 2. Sarpe in a good spot. Spotted out by a ward, clears it out. But they do know the Fenrir is going for the loop around. 4 pairs of beads that are up. Lestimix is going to tank the tier 2 tower. And it's going to be an engage from Bevy Monster. Nice Pillar of Agony, but it doesn't get as much damage out there as you would like. No big follow-up from the team. Instead, the Suns are dropped, and it seems like Toddy wants to get aggressive into them. Never mind. It's Lestimix leading the way. Gets a 3-man stun. But again, it's that tower doing a little too much damage right now. With the rest of the team here from the Wargs, seems like a very comfortable defense, but a soft defense nonetheless. They're going to back off and let the tower fall, knowing that they burned a little bit of time off that FG buff.
Yeah, I think that was the win there, depending on where the Gladiators go next. It looks like just grouping up for tier 1 in mid. They've got the heal from Lestimix, so they don't really have to reset at that point. But the Wargs did lose a lot of relics in the process, and Maskill was able to hold on to that ultimate. That gravity surge is still available, so everyone's got to be real careful with their leaps, their jumps, and their knockups here at the second tier 2 tower, this time in mid. The Gladiators have been taking a fair bit of damage from Itori, but they've still been able to grab the objective here. Fire Giant runs off in about 20 seconds, so I would imagine, yeah, the retreat has to be on the mind of the Gilded Gladiators, and they will just set up for the possible Gold Fury before that Fire Giant buff wears off in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, take your wins where you can get them. Next Fire Giant, more important than maybe trying to die over getting a tier 2 right now. So going for the Fury, like you said, going to expand their lead a little bit, though, right? I mean, even looking at where we're at after that FG, it's definitely finally in their favor. And again, first time this game that they've been able to amass such a lead. 2,400, 26 minutes in? I mean, you're maybe going to have some tier 1s over the other team. And I can see, actually, there, maybe the bigger deal, getting some upgrades for these starters is going to be important for them. But otherwise, it's not really that crazy in favor of the Gladiators now.
Yeah, I would say that the next Fire Giant fight is going to be relatively even, still in favor of the Glads for a bit, but this is going to be where the game can really crack open here. If someone can, find a pick early on, if you can just pull a relic or two before this fight really commences, because at the moment it's just, Lestimix is down for beats for about 40 seconds. You're looking at Bevy Monster also down for beats for about 45 seconds. Besides that, everyone seems ready to go, and Fire Giant's going to touch down here in about 3 seconds, and that's when the engage will begin. I don't envy the position that Sarpe or Maskiller are in. They both seem to want to stay in the backline for a bit and sort of let the other team engage first. They're great counter engagers. They're great at following up on the pressure their teams make. I think that's why Bevy Monster's blinking in, silencing, and then just Pillar of Agony trying to set up like, hey, I got beads, now we can fight, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same sort of style of fight here, where Bevy just blinks in first, gets a big silence, pulls some relics, pulls some escapes, and then we see this Fenrir go to the backline and try and set up for this next FG. But the Gilded Gladiators still have the pressure here. They're trying to push back the Wargs into their jungle before they make a Fire Giant pull, because their burst is not the greatest. I mean, Itori's got a fair bit, Sotos has a fair bit, but nothing confirmation worthy, nothing that you could gamble this Fire Giant on when it's so important, and the gold lead is just so minuscule at the moment. So I think full reset here for the Glads. There is a Trebuchet pushing down left, but that's not going to be too important until it reaches that tier 2 tower and starts wailing away. And it looks like the Wargs recognize, like, hey, they're gone, but also we don't really feel that comfortable pulling the Fire Giant either, so we're going to sit by, get some ward vision down, and just wait to see how this fight plays out.
It is interesting, though, right? A couple of minutes ago, relics are burned, ults are burned, things like that. Everything's back up, so it's going to be equal, maybe not as equal anymore. Calvin pulled in, uses the ult, and is able to walk out of this one. Not quite alive. Bevy Monster closes the gap and gets the damage out there. Pillar of Agony's been used. A couple of relics out there as well. Kha'Zix goes for the transform. They're zoning out the Gladiators. And in the 4v5, that might be all they need. Lestimix, Toddy, Sotos, and Maskill, all of them walking back in. The burn on the Fire Giant's going down. Warg's going to secure this one for themselves. Lestimix is going to have to run away. Good stun onto Toddy. Good damage follow-up as well. All they need is a little more between that and Listimics. It's a couple more kills coming the way of the Wargs, and that, Trelly, might just be enough. They still have a tier 1 in right, though.
You can't even hit that tower.
And they can't rush down the way that they need. And so timers, while they're working for them, 50 seconds without 2 members for the Gladiators. Still a little bit of work cut out for the Wargs.
Yeah, I mean, Calvin's going to come back up here. They don't have minions, so I don't even think you can get the Phoenix in that sense, because 3v5... I mean, 3v4, because I already backed up. Looks like they may be posturing to try and go for it here, but it's certainly not going to be easy in a 4v3 situation without minions. And Kazi's going to tank this one up, so they're going to go for it. They'll try and get this right side bird before the Phoenix Siege begins. It looks like a soft defense here. Smart call by the Gladiators. If they do defend that Phoenix and die, you just lose the game. Like, you just lose the game outright. So probably smart to say, okay, we'll lose that Phoenix in the process. We'll throw out more of a defense throughout the rest of the map, because we got that tier 2 in left with the Trebuchet. The gold still not looking too far out of sorts. The Wargs did pull back ahead, of course, but it's not going to be end of the world by any stretch of the word. So it looks like a full reset here for the Wargs. Fire Giant on 5, and now their turn to try and push down some of these tier 2 towers. They got the one in right, and now there's still 2 left. 1 in left and 1 in mid. Notably, though, that Oni Fury is going to come up real shortly, probably about 1 minute or so. And that'll help with the siege as well, because you got Fire Giant for 2 minutes, 27 seconds or so. You really would like some extra help pushing those lanes. You don't have to spend a body, send someone over to right lane, push out the way, put them over to mid. If you get those Oni minions, they'll push themselves.
You know what I forgot about until now?
Well,
remember that Trebuchet that was in left?
Yeah, I got the tower.
Yeah, it did some work.
Yeah. I mean, if they just ignored him, that's what'll happen.
I mean, like, it's just a tower, but it's a tower, right? You mentioned, because the minute you started talking about tier 2s, it's always that map state conversation. That was the big difference after the last Fire Giant was, 2 tier 2s standing on one side versus 4, I think actually 5, because they still had their mid tier 1 for the Gladiators at the time, towers that were up. That has changed dramatically. Mirrored map state, save for the right side Phoenix. And you had mentioned the Oni Fury. And Trelly, that's a nice pickup to get, especially when you've got fire minions anywhere on the map, let alone being able to find some control on the right-hand side. That plus a Trebuchet, I mean, if you're talking about trying to get pressure at this rate, I'm starting to imagine for the next Fire Giant, I mean, a minute 20, you've got a little bit of wiggle room. You could poke into a Phoenix, but neither of these teams have made that aggressive of a play yet so far. And so it feels like if you're going to play defensive, if you're going to play slow, this tier 2 in mid seems like the easy option, and then trying to keep the pressure on right to make sure that that Phoenix stays down, and you've got an advantage around the Fire Giant is maybe the best way for the Wargs to get an EFG and maybe try to close out the game.
Yeah, but it looks like because those Oni minions are pushing in, the Wargs are in a position where they don't have to go back for the wave. The wave will push itself, and they're able to group up and try and take a shot at this left side bird. 40 seconds on this Fire Giant, so I don't imagine it's going to be like an all-in commit sort of thing. Someone does have to clear that right side wave out. So maybe that's the call, right? Wait for the right side Oni fire wave. You got to Trebuchet as well. Once someone leaves, it's a 4v5 situation. Once the wave comes in, that's when we'll take a shot at this left side bird. 20 seconds on FG. A throw here would mean losing Enhanced Fire Giant after the fact. The Wargs are playing it as slow as you can, which is definitely the smart call. No one's going right, though. I think that's what they're waiting for. Actually, they don't care. They're just going to walk in and start hitting this bird.
Yeah, Fire Giant only has a few seconds left for them to try and get it. The shots are good. They need one more, though. The Phoenix is still standing. They've got a minion wave, though, Trelly. And with that, Spuddy is going to be able to step forward, get a couple extra shots in there. And like you said, mass kill had to go over. Actually, a lot to defend against Oni. Fire minion wave, plus the Trebuchet, as you highlighted. But I don't think I fully appreciated just how tanky the wave was going to be. So they get the left side Phoenix on top of that, and it feels like a wildly successful Fire Giant.
Yeah, I mean, mass kill, that's going to be a close fight. Like an Oni Fire Wave versus an Owelix. Like, I don't know who I'm banking on.
Who you're rooting for.
If there was no sort of, like, sustain in the Blood Forge, I think mass kill might have, especially with the Trebuchet, if you get hit by one of those shots, that's not going to feel good.
Yeah, you're you're going to be sweating a little bit.
Yeah, either way. EFG going to be touching down here in about 15 seconds, and I like the play from the Gladiators. You don't have fire minions to worry about yet. Step up immediately. If you can find a pick here, that pretty much slows down the game until one of your birds is back up, and it looks like the right side Phoenix did just spawn back in, so you don't have to worry about fire minions in left. And it looks like that's what they're doing. They're stepping up, looking for a pick. Mass kill. I got my eye on this Owelix. Clearing the wave at the moment. Could be caught out here. Lystemix is forced to beat early on before the Fire Giant even spawns in. But they have to get aggressive now. It's now or never.
Yeah, Sarpei used the ult, picked up the Guan Yu, forced them to play carefully. Gladiators have the better positioning in the FG pit. Sarpei is just farming. I thought that Sarpei was going for a crazy loop around. Just goes for the mid camps. Now goes for the loop around. Might have a little bit of help from the team. There's the leap in. Double stun from the Fenrir. Sotos takes a lot in the process. And Kha'Zix's trying to get aggressive, get in there, get something done. Transformation is good, but instead it's mass kill deep in the back line of the Wargs. Finds Itori for free. And you need to pick up a little bit more if you're the Wargs to make this worthwhile for you. Mid laner gone. Low health bars on the Gladiators. No kills just yet picked up. They're forcing them to fall back. Wheel is just still deep. I mean, look at mass kill. In the FG pit, clears out a ward. Seems like that might be all Maskill wants to do.
Look at the Titan, though. I mean, the Titan is destroyed.
Oh my god, half health? Yeah, it seems like this is a really good position to be the Wargs. Even losing your mid laner, Kha'Zix goes forward, looks for a stun. Same thing can be said for Sarpei. Finds the ult as well, and they pull back Toddy. It's going to be a nice 60 seconds without having to deal with Toddy. Sarpei maybe bites off more than they can chew. Burned down by the mid laner on the other side. And so is Spudio. They're taking down the carries. They're taking down the Wargs. Kha'Zix taken out of there. Maskill gets a double.
Dude, Maskill is doing so much damage. Like, just blinked onto Itori, Hydra's proc, Feather Step, gone. That was through Aegis. Like, Aegis was available. Itori didn't even get a chance to click it because of how much damage came through in that sense. The Titan isn't looking too solid. And it looks like, I thought Bevy was going for a backdoor. I was like, wait, are you going to go for the end here? EFG is going to be pulled, but Bevy is making his way over from behind as Itori is trying to show up here. It's just Mastiel and Lystemix on the Enhanced Fire Giant, though. This can't be that free of a call as Bevy dashes in.
Tries to do whatever they can. Pillar of Agony is there. Fire Giant is still taking damage, still lead. Somebody's got to secure this thing or it's going to get stolen away. Itori trying to find some damage, looking for the kills. The Fire Giant, I can't believe that it's lived this long. The same thing could be said for Bevy Monster. Trades out their lives. Oh, Lystemix is gone. Maskill is gone, but on the other side, Itori is hanging out. And Trelly, no one took it. It was one hit, and no one got it.
I mean, the Gladiators have been playing a fantastic game of Smite, but the map state just does not favor them. You can't have, like, 2 carries in a fight when your Titan is that low. Like, someone has to be defending. And because of that, now the Wargs are back in a position where they can go for FG. I mean, 4v3, sure, but someone's got to be in left. And at the moment, no one is. So that Phoenix is going to fall down here unless someone immediately goes back. Sotos is trying. But it might be too little too late, and that Titan is not going to heal if that bird goes down.
Fire Giant started up. Yu Huang Isotos
and it died.
is over there. Is going to be completely locked down. Yeah, Fire Giant is just dead. Wargs get it this time. No excitement over that one. Left side Phoenix, yeah, unfortunately, like you said, did fall down. Titan has not healed up at all. And now with an EFG on 4 members, Itori still didn't get that one, but on 4 members there for the Wargs. Feels like they're in a very valuable position at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Gladiators, like I said, like once you lose 2 Phoenixes and your Titan gets that weak, even if you win a fight pretty handedly at EFG, you're just really not in a position where you can just pull it that quickly. We saw Lystemix and Maskill trying to burn it down. Bevy Monster goes in with the Pillar of Agony, ends up helping with the DPS a bit, but no one ends
I thought for sure that Pillar of Agony was going to, like, accidentally secure
I thought Itori was going to just say, oh, I'm going to just do damage to the Enhanced Fire Giant instead, but probably the call in that situation because they're in such a good spot now. The Wargs have EFG. They've got left side Phoenix down. That Titan is a Merlin combo from death at this point, so
I don't know if I've ever seen the Fire Giant get that low and not die before.
Yeah, no one cared about it. Like literally, no one was looking at the Fire Giant. They was like, oh well, it's just EFG. We don't like just EFG.
It's just EFG.
What's that gonna do? Like, what's backdoor protections? So now the Wargs are able to just split up, send Sarpei over to left. I mean, in an EFG fight with Magi's Blessing, Maskill probably not wanting to take that 1v1. And like I said, anyone gets to that Titan, it's gonna be falling down pretty quickly.
Yeah, specifically I'm watching Itori because, like you said, it's just a Merlin combo away, and all they need is a little bit of space to work with. Maybe the damage over the wall is what they're going to use. They got a trebuchet, and they seem more than content to just let it do its job instead of trying to get aggressive into 4 members of the Gladiators. It's also a solo fight, 1v1 for Sarpe and Mastkill on the left-hand side. Doesn't seem like too much is coming out of it just yet. A lot of minion clearage. Mid Phoenix is already half health though, and that's going to be a little engage from Bevy Monster. Soft engage. They get a lot of damage onto Sotos in the back. The Trebuchet still doing as much as it can. Phoenix goes down, and that's going to be the full fight. They lose Itori though in the process. Now they need something to turn this back in their favor. They get rid of Calvin. Lestimix is low. Can they continue the chase? They got a Trebuchet. Mastkill is deep in the jungle, and there's pings. But you could probably just ignore it. You can remove backdoor protections. You got Spudio. The Titans under attack. They're going for the right side Phoenix, and they're going to knock it down in a matter of seconds.
I mean, Mastkill 1v1s Itori so effortlessly every single time, but that Titan is looking a little worse for wear with the Draconic Transformation. That's got to be a call. Go for the Titan. It's so weak here.
Oh, man, but Spudio eats a lot of damage. They don't have the DPS for it alive. They have to play this carefully. There's going to be another kill. Is this the defense for the Gladiators? Doing as much as they can. They full wipe the Wargs, and now just free reign. But Trelly, fire minions on left, fire minions in mid. They have to be careful leaving the Titan alone.
I mean, yeah, they're going to have to split up. Lestimix definitely can't clear all the waves. It's going to be a 3-man push up mid. They have to go through a tier 2 tower. I don't imagine this Guan you can clear all the waves here. They've got time because the fire minions are really pushed up on right, and they're going to be pushing up on middle. So it looks like Lestimix should be able to balance just the left wave just fine. But not the call to go for the Phoenix because they can't. There's not open. Oh, they're just going to go and try and get the right side bird with no minions. I mean, Itori's on the left side and not in the right position at the moment. This right side bird is going to fall down. It's going to be slow, but it'll go.
It's going to get taken out. They got 20 seconds
They're
left.
going for the end.
20 seconds to work with the Wargs. Haven't responded. Itori's up there in mid. Phoenix, you got to get something done, man. The Merlin damage is just coming in way too late, and the Titan goes down in a great defense from the Gladiators into just a run down the map. They take game number 1 in 40 minutes.
I mean, Mastkill MVP. I'm just going to say it. I mean, every single time that Awilix got to Itori, it was just knock up, feather step, dead. Oh, you have Aegis, you don't get to use it because you're in the air. Like, it's not going to work. And once that happened, I think if 2 healthy members of the Wargs got to Titan, that game's over. But Spudio's like, hey, we can end. And then Bevy's like, oh, yeah, we can end. And then they sort of like traded out. Then Kozik's like, oh, we can end? And then like they all just traded places and no one was DPSing that Titan. And again, props to the Gladiators. They played a very strong defense, and Mastkill was consistently getting to the backline there.
I'm flabbergasted, man. That's like, what a defense, what a turnaround, what a win for the Gladiators. They find themselves up 1-0. We're going to look at all the post-game stats, maybe give me some time to recuperate, and then jump into game number 2 right after this quick break.
I'm a bit too busy, serving on smiles, having me a real good time. With a drink full of bottles, they slip back for my health. Holy shit, I just stumbled. Still I'm feeling myself. Fly with the stars so free. Party all day.
Welcome back, everyone, to the SCC. The Gladiators find themselves up 1-0 here up against the Wargs, and an impressive one at that, because it was very back and forth. The Wargs, I would even argue, maybe have the lead for a majority of that
for
game.
sure.
There's a brief period after a Fury fight that then gets the Gladiators a Fire Giant where they go up 2,000 gold, and that was about the only time they felt like they were in the lead, and yet it didn't matter. They still win the game.
Yeah, it seemed like the Gilded Gladiators were, they were not comfortable just like turtling in their base, but they found some success in just saying like our defense is decent.
Yeah.
As long as Masskill can get to the back line and delete Itori before the fight starts, which happened twice, then we've got ourselves a win condition. And again, it happened twice, so it happened consistently enough that they were able to, fend off one EFG, and then the defense at their base when their Titan was just so weak. It was just ridiculous. And I forgot about this. I mean, Calvin just stealing the Gold Fury as well with just the Crushing Earth. Like, no, there was a lot of unfortunate timings and very nice plays by the Gilded Gladiators. As you said, didn't really have the goal lead for much till about like 2K. Like it was not massive by any stretch of the word, but they were still able to find their way back. Just good defense and a good stall game by the Gilded Gladiators.
Sometimes, I mean, look, you can't knock it, right? A good stall game, good defense does a lot for you here. And I love moments like this. It's one of my favorite things to see within Wheelish. Skipping the pull of the gravity series. You know what? Like, who needs it? I don't like the pull part isn't the important part. I need the damage. I need the amp. I need to be aggressive in this play. And of course, this was the defense that helped it all out. Spudio, low health, trying to get aggressive in there. Not enough damage onto the Titan. Clean kills, like you said. You gave Masskill, and deservedly so, 6-1 and 4 MVP, not just for killing Itori several times, but also for how much they were able to provide in terms of damage. Just really, really well played, and I think really well engaged as well. Like, that's one of those things that again, I think it's easy to gloss over when you see a team that has played defensively and has played cautiously, right? Like, the Gladiators had a comp that could have looked for maybe more fights than they did throughout the game, but they were really, really good under their towers, really good at maintaining kind of the line, more or less. Also helps that you got 33,000 damage from from Sotos. It's just a lot of things that really kind of pile onto each other to make it so that this victory could happen.
Yeah, and so now if you're the Wargs in that situation, you gotta.
Now, what do you do?
You
cry?
gotta. Well, first of all, you cry, and then you wipe the tears, and you say, "All right, time to squat up," because that game was stolen from us.
At least yell in frustration.
Yeah, I mean, you get like a death slam, you yell into the pillow, and then you just get back into action, because that game was certainly stolen from you. I mean, you could have closed it out for sure. I think Sarpei going into the well to try and finish that kill didn't bode too well as well. I mean, Brutalize follows the enemy, of course, but going into Fountain, probably not the best play. So some minor changes, and that could have been a Wargs victory for sure.
Absolutely wild to think about what these teams are able to do. I'm really curious as to what they changed strategy-wise going into this, right? If you're thinking picks and bans, things like that. Like Heimdall was still getting banned, Chernobog was getting banned, Yamoja, Shibalanke, Ganesh, Daji, like... It's so wild because it's not even like they were in control. It was draft-wise, you didn't necessarily do anything terrible. It was all in the moment play. So I guess we're just going to have to figure it out. They could probably run it back and feel pretty confident about themselves. It was an entirely salty run back. But the Wargs are going to be first pick a second time in a row. And the only thing that really changes, and kind of surprised to see this one, is the Mercury jumps up what was a second-tier ban from the Gladiators. It's now first ban from the Wargs.
I guess the Wargs are fearing that Masskill going to be feeling pretty solid after that win, and it's just going to first pick the Mercury.
He'll play whatever he wants.
Yeah, they're like, okay.
And be fine with it, by the way.
Yeah, so it seems like that's the play call. They're like, all right, they're up 1-0. They're able to pull out the Mercury here. We don't want to deal with it. We know that, so let's just take it away. The Kepri as well, going to remove some of that safety, but the Gladiators going with the tried and true Yamoja Heimdall ban. Wouldn't be surprised if the Chernobog follows after, because that's just what, you're winning at this point. The Gladiators are in a position where they don't have to change up too much about what we saw last game, but I mean, now you're in a position with the Wargs. I mean, I was going to say you got to ban the Daji, so now that's going to open up a few different doors. Remember last time the Hades was first picked, so we'll have to see if that's something that Bevy wants to get his hands back on again. Yeah, I was going to say I don't have a problem with really any of the picks from the Niflheim Wargs. It was just, play on field that is going to have to change up if you don't want to end up in that situation once again. And it looks like the Chernobog will be banning. So the Wargs have that option. Do you want to first pick the Hades again? It got pressure. And it looks like that will be the call. They will grab that Hades for Bevy Monster one more time.
Yeah, it'll be questions around. I'm honestly looking towards the mid lane and maybe the jungle a little bit. I think the Fenrir looked good.
Yeah.
So, again, small moment where like maybe one right click a few seconds early is like going to keep you alive instead of in the fountain. That's about it. And the Merlin, the only reason I mentioned that, not necessarily because of damage and anything. I think it did swell there. Just something that doesn't get bullied by mass kill might feel nice. Which is ironic considering he was the only one that was like regularly capable of not being pulled on that squad. Well, sometimes you lose some, right? It just doesn't go well for him. It was Yu Huang Terra last time. Now it's flopped Terra Yu Huang locked in here for the Gladiators. Feeling really solid about their support, which they should, and feeling really solid about the mid lane, which based on the damage we saw, they should.
Yeah, this is going to be a change-up that we will get to see the Cupid this time around for Spudio. Did a ton of damage on the Jingwei last game. Cupid, I imagine, going to be similar results, and you come online a bit earlier, right? I mean, the Jingwei was still getting active and was certainly pretty fed in lane, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern, but more team fight presence with that ultimate. The cripple is always going to be annoying, and as you said, the Gladiators looking like they're just going for the full run back. You can't even call it a salty run back. They won. This is just this is a happy run back, if anything. If the full draft is given to them once again, I would be shocked if they didn't go for it. So we'll have to see if a Wheelix gets banned here from the Wargs. That's something they want to try and take away.
Well, I was going to ask you about a Hunter change, but then the god that I was going to mention got banned in the Artemis. I was going to say, well, do you think they go back to the Ho Yi into the Cupid if like you could maybe pick Artemis? A lot of SPL hunters really value that matchup. The Wargs were thinking the same thing I was, and they stopped that train of thought before the Gladiators could even get there. Still, a really powerful top three, like you mentioned. The Gladiators banning out the Nemesis and the Kamazots. As was mentioned, the Artemis, now the Hunbats on the other side. And they're going to take away the Jingwei. And you know what? If you're looking for someone who's just safe, although maybe a little more dangerous, I guess, into the matchup against Cupid in ult regards, but I guess ult for ult almost every time. You're just safe.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it sound more dangerous and tantalizing, but you're Jingwei.
Yeah, Jingwei is going to bring that safety. I just wanted to see the full run back personally, so I was hoping we'd see a Wheelix and then like Ho Yi, and then we could just see the full Gladiators comp once again. Looks like that's not going to be the case. The Wargs, however, are going to change up a few things. Agni is going to bring a ton of AoE damage. I think more safety than Merlin for sure. That dash is just going to cover a lot more ground. And the Ratatosker for Sarpei. That's going to be
all out of flowers.
That's going to be, he is all out of flowers, so that's something to be a little bit worried about. But it's going to bring an overwhelming amount of early pressure, and that's something that you got to look to whenever you see the Rat. And the Gladiators, they're going to grab the Kali in that last spot. So we haven't seen too much of like the Golden Blade style junglers. I wouldn't be surprised if, we don't even see a Golden Blade on Maskill here. You can just go like straight pen items, and Kali still does good damage. So could be the case here, and the Gladiators have a very solid late game once again.
Yeah, and honestly, from what we've seen, Kali can kind of get her hands on the game a little earlier now, too. And we'll see if the Gladiators play that. Based on the game pace of game number 1, I don't expect that we're going to have to anticipate too much early Kali action. Instead, we can jump into game number 2 and see how long it takes for this Kali to get online here. But like you said, look, if I'm going to late game team fights, I'm betting on the team with Kali 9 times out of 10 anyway. I'm going to bump that to maybe the 98%er for me personally, Trelly. Just seeing, the healers, the control, the safety for the carry. Then again, Spudio had that same safety last time around, and we saw how that went around the Titan room. So sometimes things change in the blink of an eye. Tori on this Agni has me really interested. But what will probably be a little more eye-catching earlier on will be Sarpei. Ratatosker feels like one of those gods that almost needs to get hands-on earlier.
Yeah.
Not just can, but like should be and has to.
Yeah, I think Rat, that's why we see Sarpei with the blink. I think Rat is one of those characters that falls off pretty hard late game. You don't want to be in that 30, 40-minute position on a Rat. You want to be controlling, with your global presence early on. Unfortunately, I can't sign off on Itori's build. I mean, I got to sit down with Pagon one of the best mid laners in the world currently. And he said if you're going double flat pen, like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Like there's bar none. If you're going pen item instead of warlocks at the moment, you are struggling. Like it's just not worth it. So we'll have to see if Itori can, battle against that because Sotos is gonna have that warlock sash online, not care too much. A lot less HP for Itori. Sure, you'll be doing a bit more damage early on, but once that warlocks is stacked, the tanks. That's really going to be the big damage change up. So I do like the double flat pen build. I just feel like you're putting yourself at a bit of a disadvantage because you're stunting your mid game just a bit by choosing flat pen over the typical warlocks. But again, Itori could be positioning that way for a reason, trying to get aggressive with that build and just not let the game go late.
Yeah. And look, if you're going to win a game like this with this kind of draft, I like the idea of just running it down. We were talking, I think specifically about the Gladiators composition last time around, saying it felt very Dragons-esque. I think that if you want to win this game and you want to win it fast, the Wargs maybe need to channel their inner Jade
Yep.
Dragons and try to get it as quick as possible. And a lot of that is going to be reliant, I think, again, around Sarpe in the jungle. Has to be a little cautious there, low health bars. It is a successful red buff invade. So the Wargs kicking things off. Again, small gold lead. But any lead at this point, in my mind, feels pretty solid in their favor just to keep things... Well, then again, they had a massive lead last time. Try to keep it a little more comfortable early.
Yeah, certainly that is the play, and I like the fact that Sarpe is using that aggression as we said because you really should be on the Ratatosker. I mean, once you get access to that acorn, you can use your influence like throughout the map, and especially once Through the Cosmos comes through, because once you get that global presence, there's going to be a lot of damage that you can impact throughout the map as well. So I like the early aggression. I think it's gonna bode well for them to try and continue invading these red buffs, that sort of thing. Because again, with the build that Itori's went to go, I mean, you're not stacking warlocks. You're on the line once that item comes through.
Yeah. And that's actually that plays into this wider conversation I wanted to bring up to you because it's like Kali, like late game gods in my mind, and when we get to EU, feel like they should just be the standard because like I'm gonna tell you guys, you're not playing for the early or the mid. Like half the time, it does not matter if that is where your draft is. We've never seen really any of these teams except maybe Hex Mambo put that pressure on when their compositions are kind of skewed that way, and it feels like. If that's also the case, then it might be more worthwhile, even if you think that flat pen is better, to go for a stacking item because like you're gonna get the benefits of it. You're not gonna have to stress too much until like 10 minutes from now.
Yeah, that's why honestly I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen more like Baba Yaga. I know it was big EU meta a bit ago.
Real
It's
big
kind of,
EU.
It's sort of fallen by the wayside a bit, but I mean either way, you're in a situation where. I think the Wargs looked at the composition they were up against and said, hey, we need to get active early. Like, we've got a Rat, we've got an Agni. Let's not go for any stacking items. Let's invade red buff. Like, they've got that. Get out. No one died. Good. We don't want Mass Kill getting some early pressure on this Kali. Try and stunt some of that early game. And it looks like that's the play style here. I want to see more of that. I want to see this blink from Sarpe just used on cooldown, just constantly getting aggressive, constantly looking at these red buff invades, the blue buff invades. Really anywhere you can find aggression, that's where Sarpe should be right now.
And I'm going to be excited because I want to see the exact same thing. I want to see Sarpe kind of leading the way, making sure things happen, and kind of on point. Might wait till level 5 before we start seeing anything just because that ult is really helpful, but should be involved. Plus, you got an Agni in mid lane, right? That's the easiest setup. Just Meteor stun, then you come in, stun.
Those are meteors?
Yeah, well, he like shoots it up and then
Okay, I was going to say, it looks like you were juggling.
Juggling?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could probably juggle his meteors if he wanted to.
I mean, he does, like, control
He's got them on,
them.
like, the crown.
That's true. That's just a great mechanic that you can see how many meteors he has on his little head.
It's fun, yeah, when you're playing against him and, like, if you're paying attention.
If you're real close. My eyes aren't the best, so I'd be like, he's either got, like, a bad haircut or he's got 3 meteors, guys.
Look, he's got at least one because I can see some gold up there, and that's all that really matters is he's got the one. I've actually, I think there's times when Agni's like super meta that that does play a very critical role in like choosing engagements. I want to ask the pros at some point, maybe sometime this week, and that can be the pregame interview question where it's just like, hey guys, do you ever pay attention to Agni's meteor crown? Like, does that matter to you?
just like, oh guys, we can't go in. He's got 3 bombs. Like I can see he's on a ward. I can see through the wall. He's got 3 bombs. Let's not go in. I know for a fact because I have heard like the comms. They'll say he's got 2 bombs left. Like they are aware of it. I don't know if it's because
but that
of the
usually
crowd.
is after he drops
Yeah, I was gonna say
right?
it's probably just because they see them drop.
Hey,
and
he
they're
hasn't fought in 5 minutes and he just dropped a bomb. He's got 2 left.
Yeah, like he's still got 3. Oh, he's out of bombs. Like I've heard that he's out of bombs, and that means you can also go in and Agni's dash. Once that's down, it's a decently long cooldown.
Yeah.
So if he's out of bombs and dash, you're probably killing him.
Probably killing him. And you know what? That's helpful for the Gladiators here, right? Because that's what they want to hear is where the bombs are going and whether or not they're up or down. That plus the rat, again, maybe gives an early game advantage to the Wargs. But it just comes to this weird, pace styling. Like, we had 3 kills, and, like, the 3rd kill last game happened at 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that based on history of these 2 teams' play styles, that I really expect to see, like, all of a sudden a switch flipped. And you're going to be up 5-0, 6-0 in 8 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it's a switch, but I do think because the Wargs, were in such a commanding lead for a 40-minute game, and then they lost, maybe they're like, let's come out hot, right? Like, because if you ever had like a ranked game where you just play like a 45-minute game, you're so used to doing like a certain amount of damage, and then you spawn back in the next game, and you're level 1, and you're like, why am I so slow? How come I'm doing so little damage? You're sort of in the old game mindset. Wouldn't be surprised if the Wargs think they're 40 minutes in, and they're just like, we're going. Like let's invade red buffs. I won. Blinks in.
Yeah.
We don't have our 4 key, but like besides that, you can still get aggressive.
Yeah, and I might not be giving them enough credit, right? They went for the red buff invade that we just saw. And now we'll see what they can do after that brief pause. Thanks for bearing with us through it as we jump back into game number 2 here. Again, small 200 gold, 300 gold lead for the Wargs. Which when you divide that around 5 players, Jelly, that is a health pot. And 10 extra gold, and you know what? They can take that to the shop, pick out their favorite piece of candy. But there's not a lot.
They only get 1, and they can't share. And like
that's what if we did that? I think we have done that in Halloween events in the past, right? Where you could buy like it's usually an arena. There's like
there's a spooky potion.
A spooky potion.
And every once in a while, when you drank it, it would like jump scare you.
It would just jump scare.
And I remember because I didn't know what it was, and I was just it actually. It really got me. I did not expect it because someone typed like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like I was like, "What's up?" Like, get the spooky potion. So I drank it. I'm like, nothing happened. They're like, "Just trust me. Like, just give it some time." And then you get jump scared. And Sarpei finally getting aggressive in the early, and that's what we want to see. First blood going over to the Wargs.
Yeah, Toddy getting jump scared this time. No ult even necessary to try and find that one. Good aggression from the Wargs. Now I'm thinking about Halloween stuff. I wouldn't mind just a piece of candy in the store. It's like 1 gold.
That's what.
It doesn't do anything for you. It's just something you can spend money on.
Spudio does have the ghost, the spooky ghost skin, so that's good at least for the Halloween event. So you got the trick or treating.
Yeah,
Cupid.
there we go. The trick or treat Cupid.
Yeah, he's got like the candy corn, but then.
All right, and you know what? I need this chat. You too. I think we have a little bit of time to work with here, just based on EU stuff. And Trelly, I'm going to ask you.
Please do.
What are your thoughts on candy corn?
When I was a kid, I won't lie to you, I loved it. Like I ate it a lot.
Okay, so as a kid, you loved it.
But I think it was one of those situations where I had it so much.
You turned your back on it.
Yeah, I will never put a piece of candy corn in my mouth.
You betrayed it.
Yeah, I am definitely a candy corn betrayer.
Now, have you had, if I may, the
Please.
pumpkin candy corn?
I have had, yeah, I have.
Because
yes.
that is the best version of candy corn ever.
And
it might be one of my favorite. It's so bad because I know when I eat it that it's just sugar, right? Like it's one of those candies that you eat and you know you're not getting anything other than sugar into your system. Like sometimes you can convince yourself otherwise.
I was gonna say
right?
there's not too many candy that I eat that I feel as if it's not just sugar. Like what?
Yeah, but that one's like egregious is the way I would describe it. Like if I eat a Three Musketeers, not a sponsor by the way, but if you want to be, reach out. I know that I'm it's gonna be like there's like a mouthfeel to it and like you're getting chocolate. Like yeah, it's still like a lot of sugar, not necessarily for any other health benefits, but like I'm not actively thinking about it. When I bite into candy corn, which I love by the way, so we get to balance it out. You can dislike it because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact, like the minute the taste hits my mouth, I know I'm not getting anything of. In fact, I'm detrimenting my health by eating this thing.
Okay, well then I guess a follow-up question. We're a little past the season, but
why do I do it?
do you like marshmallow peeps?
No, and so the reason why is because I do not like the crunch of the sprinkle.
Wow.
And that's pretty much it. Also, the weird flavoring they put on them, because it's not just marshmallow. That being said, I'll absolutely still eat peeps.
I mean, that's just complete sugar as well.
And I recognize, that's another one that when you eat it, like you're just like, not only am I not like enjoying this as much, but also this can't possibly be good for any part of my body. Like not even like a serotonin release is worth what's happening to like your teeth, your stomach, and everything else.
All right, I got one more for you.
One more.
This is some Smite trivia. Do you know what the curses is for this Cupid skin? It would be something that would make a trick-or-treater upset if he got this in his candy.
I got a rock.
Now he says raisins. Yeah, that's his curses.
I was like, you know what? Shoot for the Charlie Brown reference and just hope that it works out well.
that is a classic. But like I remember I had someone like that in my neighborhood that like actually gave
raisins,
apples and stuff like that. He was a dentist and he was like, you don't know what that candy's doing to you. So that's what I expected. Every single year.
And you know what? I'm going to call it out. I don't like that guy.
I didn't like him much.
And you know what? I was going to say, every child, it's got to be interesting to know that every child in that neighborhood hates you. And to spend years under that guy's. Maybe he was prepared for it because he's
I just skipped the house.
Just start skipping.
I was like, hey, the neighbors have like, candy. I'm just going to go there. Like, what's the point?
That being said, I'd kill for an apple right now.
We got pumpkins.
We do got pumpkins. I've never just taken a straight bite of a pumpkin before, and I don't think I want to start, especially because I'm like 80% convinced these are mostly plastic.
Do you like your pumpkins boneless or with the bone in?
A bone-in pumpkin all the way.
Okay, bone-in pumpkin, gotcha. I mean, we were right.
Just like you need bone-in pizza.
Yeah, we were right to go on this tangent because there has been absolutely no fighting. There was a little bit of aggression towards Sarpé, but besides that, trade ult for ult over in duo. Everything else has just been farm game. And actually, it looks like maybe Maskill was trying to gank Bevy and right, but went over for blue buff anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
you remember that discussion when I said, why would you go for an early game comp?
Yeah.
It's just history, man. I'm just curious about it and wondering where the Wargs mindset is at. I like their aggression, though, because like you said, they've been looking for some fights. Maskill as well, looking for a little bit. Red buff was attempted to be invaded a second time, didn't happen. They're bullying Kha'Zix in terms of CC, but not a whole ton happening otherwise for the game.
I mean, I thought that was going to be a nice invade because, again, Tori went for like the Divine early, but even with the flat pen start, Calvin just did not care about any sort of damage that's coming through, so looks like that's not going to be any point of contention. And we at least see Maskill on this side of the map trying to defend purple buff from the Wargs, who are 2 strong currently. I was going to say 3 strong, but Spudio still has a wave to deal with, so we'll have to see if there's going to be a little bit of a brawl over this purple.
It's going to be an invade, jump down, Sarpé gets the knock up, but there's the death immunity, and it's going to be a turnaround. Maskill gets the kill and finds the disengage. What jukes, what shell, gets the jungler out of there. The Dueling Dragons pulls a little bit in. Toddy has the loop around, stuns good, forces the beads from Ichkori, and then the collapse down. The Phoenix Fire from Sotos is enough to pick up one more. Chases on, but with a good lead. No Toddy, and it's great position, and an unfortunate D-transform time. Sotos gets a double kill. Now the aggression is on. Toddy goes forward, and you're surrounded by 2 of your Spudio. 4 clean kills out of nowhere for the Gladiators.
And Gore, the game's still even. Look at the gold.
They pulled it back in their favor.
4 kills.
Oh my god.
It's a 60 gold deficit. I mean, the Wargs, they came out with the all-out aggression. Props to Sarpé, got Maskill very low, but turns out Kali, when she uses her ult, just cannot die. Toddy, however, does not have death immunity and might be in a little bit of trouble. The stun doesn't connect, though. And I don't see anyone coming over. Oh, Toddy just has to turn and fight at that point. So Sarpé will be able to clean up 1 kill in that sense and put the Wargs a little bit closer to making that gold lead back to even. But besides that, 4 kills in favor of the Gladiators, and they're going to pull this Pyromancer immediately. It just spawned in 50 seconds ago, but Kha'Zix catches this out.
Will they be able to do anything about it? Catches it out. Hammer has stolen a lot. Leap is available. Looking for something. Gladiators secure the Pyromancer. And now Trelly get to pull a little more gold slightly in their favor. I mean, to the point where ultimately, functionally, still relatively even between these two. But that's got to be a nice, reinvigorating mental fight for the Gladiators to just get that. I mean, 4 kills like that in quick, rapid succession. And specifically for Maskill getting out of there the way they did, I think that you've got to be more than happy with the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not going to stop Sarpé from taking Dottie's purple buff once again. That buff does not belong to the Gilded Gladiators this time. And we're seeing a little bit of aggression on this side of the map, but because Gold Fury is... It would put either one of these teams in a massive lead. It doesn't look like we're going to see a pull just yet. The DPS from the ADCs also isn't quite online. Spudio working on that possible Executioner or Kins, but hasn't quite got the gold to finish that up yet, and that would really help your DPS onto the objective. So because Pyromancer's down and it's just gold, I do expect to see junglers hanging around the left side of the map a bit, but as long as there's vision, there's not going to be any pre-15-minute gold pulls this time around. They have the Fafnir though, and that's going to be some good burn. So if Kha'Zix decides, hey, we're going Draconic Transformation, I'm coercing, we're burning through this, they've got the DPS to try and do it, but looks like they're more so interested in trying to find a pick.
Oh, it's going to be a pick nonetheless. Oh my god, Itori just deleted in the jungle up onto the branches. Sarpé, yeah, not going in for this one. Surveys the area, falls back. Might be a red buff invade from the Gladiators. It's respawning just now. No, they're going to go for something a little bit better than a measly red buff. Gold Fury started up. The Gladiators lead 5-2. Only 200 to now 400 gold separating them. This is going to be a massive Fury, jumping it up into the 1,500 mark. And while experience is pretty close, still, Trelly, finally, the Gladiators get themselves a lead.
Yeah, I mean, Itori's dash got caught there, and unfortunately...
No way. No
just
way.
dashing in here, feeling so confident with the heart pump down. Maskill did save the stun there, so Spudio going down. 3 killing spree for the Maskill. 3 kill spree, whatever you want to call it. Killing spree for Maskill, 3 kills. And now it looks like Sarpé trying to find some aggression on the left side of the map, not letting the Gladiators back up after getting that clean gank, because Spudio used both relics and still died there. That is just not a great situation to be in if you're the Cupid. The Wargs are losing DPS across the map because with Itori going down and then Spudio dying as well, both falling 0-2, it's hard to find any sort of way to fight back in this game currently.
Yeah, the focus from the Gladiators seems very pointed right now, right? I mean, last game it was, hey, Maskill, can you kill Itori? Cool, we're going to win this fight then. Now it's just opened up that conversation to, so what about Spudio? And you know what? It's worked out for him, right? The front line doing as much as they can, but Sarpé 2-1-0, a little lead over Maskill, but you have to imagine Kali late game and the impact that can bring in terms of kill potential, kill chase down, things like that. Just maybe a little too solid for the Gladiators, too reliable, I should say, for the Gladiators. The Wargs, meanwhile, 90 seconds on both beads and Aegis. You had highlighted both being used for Spudio. It's a pretty wide window to get aggressive if you're Maskill, or honestly, if you're just Toddy and you wanted to try and fight over on left. A lot of opportunities. Pyromancer is going to come up before anything else, but most of the big neutral objectives are just kind of hanging around. Or, sorry, they're down. It's just Fire Giant hanging around. So it gives a nice little opening, I think, for the Wargs to try and farm up and just stay safe without giving too much away. Interesting to then say that and watch 2 players immediately looking like they want to jump in and go for a fight. Which, honestly, a couple of kills right now would not hurt.
I mean, yeah, if you're looking for aggression, now would be a decent time to try and find it. If you are the Wargs, the Gladiators, of course, in the winning position, don't really mind waiting for Pyromancer to spawn back in. Just look for their objective pressure whenever possible. But it looks like just a little bit of a fight over the blue buff currently. Bevy Monster's here, but it's just going to be confirmed quickly by the Gladiators. They got to be happy with trying to get out here.
Yeah, Bevy Monster tries to pull people in. Well, successfully pulls in Calvin, but takes too much damage in the process. Downside, a Pillar of Agony. You're a non-moving target with a Yu Huang on the other side. That's good damage from Sotos. Everyone on the Wargs is trying to retreat now. It seems like the Gladiators are going to let them get out of here. because they don't have the full chase down, but it's 6-2 or 7-2.
Oh, wow.
And just make it 8. Look, I didn't think it was going to happen. No one was going to the duo lane, but with 6 seconds left on the beads and Aegis timers, Spudio had nothing to save themselves there. And a quick little pickup kill in mid extends the lead for the Gladiators, 8-2 in kills.
I mean, that was just stun into knockup. So much damage coming from Maskill and Toddy there. And as you said, Spudio has both relics up now, but not at the moment. And that relic timer had to be on the mind. Toddy taking the 1v1 versus Sarpe. This is getting close, but it looks like Sarpe falling down here. The airstrike going to be able to confirm that one. And now, I mean, this game just getting out of hand. 9-2 in favor of the Gladiators. Pyromancer is spawned back in, so I imagine that'll be the next point of contention for the Gladiators. And then you got a little bit of time before that Oni Fury spawns back in, but I imagine they probably want to go for that one pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I think getting aggressive. Yeah, there's the Pyromancer immediately. Toddy? Just trying to stay alive at this point. Half health. 6 levels up, man, on Kha'Zix. If it weren't for the fact that there's an Agni there and then also a Cupid there, probably could have just turned around and maybe taken that fight. Speaking of turn around and taking the fight, who cares about Pyro? Put Bevy Monster into the ground. Now you get the Pyromancer. No, you just go for the bigger objective, a 17-minute, 20-second Fire Giant. Look, Charlie, we were talking a lot about the pace of the game, speed of the game. The Gladiators apparently took the message that was meant for the Wargs to heart and have started to pick up the pace. They're going to get this one, not a soul nearby in time to be able to grab that. And even worse for Sarpe, uses the ult just a little too late there.
Yeah, you could tell Sarpe was like, all right, I'm going to go for my speed buff. They'll get Pyromancer. And he was on back camp. He's like, they probably should have dropped Pyromancer by now. And then he goes for his other back. He's like, I think they're on fire, guys. The second he channeled that ultimate, it was a little bit too little too late. Unfortunate the vision was just not there to catch out that early Fire Giant pull. And, you know, plenty of DPS at that point. Toddy, level 18 on the Jingwei, so you're allowed to go for pulls like that. Now it's time to grab that Oni Fury over on the left side of the map. Pyromancer is still standing, I guess, so if the Wargs wanted to get a little bit of a consolation prize, they could rotate over and try and grab that objective in the meantime, but a lot of towers still standing, all of them at the moment. Gore, 3 tier 1s, 3 tier 2s, the Oni Fury as well. This gold is, it's going to balloon out of control if the Gladiators go unchecked and are able to grab them all for free. And it looks like that is on the mind of the Wargs. They're saying, hey, let's group up and maybe we grab a right tier 1 in the process. We try to get a little bit of gold before they try and break our base and get like a 12k gold lead. That's a smart call, but they're not taking their towers as quickly as the Wargs.
We'll see what the Wargs can do in retaliation. Look, I'm not normally one for racing against a Fire Giant, but you got a Trebuchet and you got to get something in your favor when you're down by 8 kills. And so what will it be? They lose the tier 2 in mid. Looks like they're about to lose tier 2 in left. Right still has 2 towers standing. And that'll be the last 2 left for the Wargs. So a lot more gold in favor of the Gladiators now. About 8,000, give or take. And Trelly's still 2 minutes left on a Fire Giant to play with.
Yeah, it's looking good for the Gilded Gladiators, right? Because they have those Oni minions. They're able to push out here. Surely that right tier 1 and tier 2 are next on the chopping block for the Gilded Gladiators, but they've given Maskill and Toddy the fast track to late game. And you know, of course, Sotos is 3-0, playing extremely well on the Yu Huang, as well as the whole team's looking clean. But I'm saying, like, you pick hyper carries like the Jingwei, like the Kali, you're hoping they're not sitting at level 19 at 19 minutes. Like that's not the ideal situation, and you definitely don't want the Kali to be 5-0. Like that is something that if I had a bingo card, that would be checking all the boxes of things that I did not want to happen this game if I'm the Wargs. So a decent idea, try and pick Toddy in the jungle. If you can get a relic down, the airstrike is a small consolation prize, but holding on to both relics is going to be the Jingwei as this tier 2 tower starts to get looked at. The Wargs positioning tells me they might try to go for the defense here, but Bevy, looking full HP, should be able to stop at least a little bit of the aggression.
How long can you stay full HP in front of this team? That's really the question, right? You look full HP, but how long does it actually last for him? Lessimic's taking the tower for a little bit. Shots getting thrown out. Not a lot of commit from the Gladiators. Now they only got 45 seconds to work with. Mastical sees Sarpe and wants to go in the blink. The leap is trying to chase him down. Good stun from the other side. But that's the opening the rest of the team needs to get the tier 2 and get themselves out of there.
Yeah, and because there was an early Fire Giant, it's going to fall off in about 30 seconds. So I think just taking this absurd gold lead for 21 minutes into the game is going to be the win that the Gilded Gladiators were after. That means their next Fire Giant, which is going to be at about like 23 minutes or so, is going to be the one that tries to go for these Phoenixes if it goes uncontested. So the Wargs are in a position where, I mean, you could feel confident in your base defense, but I think stealing away this Fire Giant and like trading out for it could be the best play possible. It just depends on how much you lose for it, right? If you're given 2 lives for the FG, the Gladiators have the DPS to just end. They have waves pushed up. They have 3 Phoenixes that are exposed. They could go for whichever one they really wanted to. So I don't think trading 2 for FG would be that worth it. But if you could just send like Sarpe in with the ult, steal Fire Giant and die, and then just stall out, I'm thinking that's your best play. Your base defense is not going to be that solid, especially the way that Kha'Zix has went with the relics. Cursed Ankh and Shell, that's not really like the Bracer Frenzy combo we usually see, so it's not going to be helping out too much. And unfortunately, losing your ADC before any of this happens is also not going to help out too much. Spudio getting caught out there at the mid camps.
Brightside didn't use any of the relics, so those will be up in 45 seconds when Spudio's back on the map. Downside, your carry's gone for 40 more seconds, and 10 of those only overlap with the Fire Giant respawn. Otherwise, that's 30 seconds clean time for the Gladiators to work with. Charlie, I don't know. I'm starting to think 10,000 gold, 9 kills differentiating them, and the map state. And it's difficult for the Wargs right now, right?
Especially with like an early slanted team comp.
You're not even able to talk about, I think, defending this Fire Giant. I don't think that this is anywhere near where the conversation is. I think that everybody on the Wargs just kind of has to recognize this is the Gladiators' territory right now. We can watch it happen through wards, and that's about it. Yeah, it will be an easy Fire Giant for the Glads. It's small victories, right? Can you push up left enough to get that tier 1? Can you defend your Phoenixes? I mean, those are really where the mindset of the Wargs should be at. And with all of their relics up, all of their ults up, it feels like they've got a decent chance of using a Phoenix as a 6-man to at least hold off the Gladiators.
Yeah, and even so, Calvin does pick up the Emperor's armor, so that's going to be nerfing it pretty heavily. You know, the Wargs don't have one of their own, so the Phoenix trying to do some extra damage. I don't think they can rely on that hard. Luckily, Itori did finish the Soul Reaver and the Obsidian Shard before the siege, as well as Sarpe with that Titan's Bane. That's going to be some good amount of penetration, going to help out for trying to shred through these tanks if they are tanking up this fight, or this Phoenix rather. So some important power spikes, I think, for the Wargs to get done before the siege begins. But as you said, you know, all the damage in the world is not going to help you from Maskill, who quite literally can't die. Like, whenever that destruction gets popped, you just have to run. You don't have enough survivability. You know, of course, Sarpe doesn't even have survivability. It's just blink beads. You don't have like an Aegis or a shell. You just have to hope that Kha'Zix is nearby and tries to shell you at that point. But I do like the split here. Send Maskill and Listemics over to mid, push that wave up. Sarpe is going to be over in mid lane for a bit, and then look for left. See if you can bait out some ultimates and go for this left side Phoenix.
See what they can do. Always interesting when it's just the full 5-on-5 on left. Trying to get any damage onto the Phoenix that they can. And it's kind of spread between all of them. Sarpe uses the door. and then comes right back in. I thought he was going to go for a loop. We were about to see an ult from the Ratatosk or something interesting. Instead, just trying to match the rotation from Maskill. Maskill just making sure that the numbers advantage goes the way of their team.
So much healing.
Yeah, it's just so hard to get in here. They're going to try anyway. Minions are here. Fields of Love comes out. And that's going to lead a leap forward from Kha'Zix, dueling dragons. Pushing them away, pulling Bevy Monster in. Up into the sky goes Sarpe. They're looking for a dive. Where do you go? They're going on to Calvin. They get the kill, but they trade their life out for it now. 4v4. Healing is still there thanks to the Guan Yu. Gladiators moving forward towards the Phoenix. No defense held by the Wargs this time. Phoenix is going to go down. Maskill jumps in, is trying to catch Kha'Zix on the D-transform, but doesn't quite get him in time. I mean, has to fall back.
Yeah, the left side bird goes down. This 4v4 with the healing from Listemic should definitely go in favor of the Gilded Gladiators. Bevimonsta doesn't have the beads, and that looks to be like Maskill trying to blink to the backline and find some sort of aggression. Not too worried, because has Destruction available. It's just going to be, when does Maskill go in? Who is going to be the target that this Kali wants to try and shred through before the siege begins? Bevy's HP is looking a little low. I imagine with a wave, that could be the target here on that left side of the fight.
There's going to be a good stun from the Agni. Maybe the first time we've really gotten to see that attach, but it's going to be the Destruction deep in the backline. Maskill has to play carefully. The healing's going to be there. Oh my god. Maskill should have died, but gets out with barely any HP left. It's a retreat from the Gladiators. And Trelly, look, I don't even think we need to mention it. Defenses in this game can go massive. They kill off Sotos. The chase is on for the Gladiators. Toddy's caught out, but not fully killed off. The safety of Jingwei gets them away. And then luckily, you've got 4 towers still standing, 2 in mid, that are going to provide a small buffer between the Gladiators and the Wargs.
Yeah, Fire Giant's going to fall off in about 20 seconds, so a decent defense there from the Wargs. You don't want to lose that left side Phoenix, but I guess in the situation where you're this far down, you're going to take that. You know, you're going to say, okay, we defended 2 of our Phoenixes in that case. They really only went for the mid Phoenix and left, so they defended 1 Phoenix in total, but at least you have 2 standing tall, and you're sitting at about a 10k gold deficit going into this next Fire Giant that'll spawn back in at about 28 minutes. Not quite enhanced, and I think because you got some key relics down, maybe the Gilded Gladiators have to play a bit slow. Mostly Maskill's Blink Beads combo. That's what you're waiting for. Once the Kali is able to Blink Beads and get to the backline and shred through once again, I imagine that siege is going to be going pretty much the same way. But, you know, the problem that was here before is still the same problem. The Wargs can't really step up towards this Fire Giant to try and defend. They can send someone over to left to clear out those waves, but that means they're fighting a man down if they do decide to go over towards this FG. So it looks like the Wargs are going to group up in their jungle at the very least and try and get some vision down towards this FG. They've got 4 wards between themselves, only 2 sentries, so maybe get some ward vision, then back up. I don't imagine the play is to go for the steal, but hey, Sarpe back, so it looks like the Wargs are going to put up a bit of a soft defense towards this Fire Giant. That could be trouble if the Gladiators don't catch this out.
You're going to have to be careful. On both sides at this point. Wargs, you are 1 slip up, 1 misstep away from potentially falling apart. Sarpe, spotted out by Toddy. Walking over a couple of wards to get to that position. Gladiators still have 3 times the kills, 10,000 more gold than the Wargs. So it's all about the engage, all about the FG. And if the dance goes on long enough, Trelly, we might see an EFG become the stakes. Setting about 1:20 from the 30-minute mark for them to maybe make that change. Sarpe has now made it deep. Has now gotten into a position where 1 good ult can maybe make the difference. It's just about the engage and whether they'll go for it. It's waiting for the Wargs to go in there. It's going to be onto Toddy. Immediately tries to get the damage and has enough to stop him from the ult. Gets onto the tree branch and is able to disengage before the damage is done. Wargs surging forward, looking for their knockup. Listemics is the target for Sarpe, but the backup is there. It's Maskill, and Maskill is able to at least get 1 so far, Trelly. It's just the carry for the jungle.
But yeah, you got to use this Draconic Transformation. In time, I was going to say you're going to run out of time. Spudio has to back immediately to try and save that left side Phoenix, so it doesn't look like Fire Giant is going to be on the cards for the Wargs for the time being. That Phoenix is going to take a little bit of damage, but Spudio should have made it there in time to keep that standing. And now the Gladiators should be able to go for the full reset and then try and go for a pull onto the soon-to-be enhanced Fire Giant, as you said. I mean, Spudio has to sit there for 1 more wave at the very least. Sarpe's down for 26 seconds, and Toddy can just fly back in. So the Gladiators are still in a pretty commanding position to just go for the pull onto the EFG. Just Kha'Zix is here to try and defend for the time being, but once Maskill spots that out, gonna start shredding through this Fafnir. Bevimonsta has also joined the fight.
Sotos, Toddy, all back. All feeling solid. Fire Giant, 3/4 HP. I expect that to change. Sarpe now back alive. Spudio making the rotation over, but is stuck in mid. And maybe a little surprised to see the Gladiators not push this to the limit. Instead, they're going to fall back a little bit off the FG And honestly, give time for the Wargs to regroup.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're waiting for Mass Kill Blink Beads combo to be back up. I guess they're that confident that as long as Kali can, be part of the engage here, that they're going to win the fight regardless. But you're right to highlight the fact that it's a little confusing, considering how split the map was at the time. Like, Spudio was in left, Sarpei was in mid. They had a 3v5 situation on that Enhanced Fire Giant, but if Toddy's able to grab this Oni Fear, which it looks like they will be able to get in the meantime. Oh, they saw the pull onto the Fire Giant. They're going to go back and forth for a bit. Lystemix is like, wait, don't do it. Come over quick. They're going to pull. They have a ton of Shred. If Kha'Zix goes into that Draconic Transformation, right when this Oni Fury goes down, they're going to know, hey, Toddy is over on that Fury. We can go for a pull or at least try and get aggressive. So I imagine to see some sort of aggression, but no. The Wargs heard that, and they did nothing. They just walked on back, and I guess they're comfortable just fighting for the objective once it actually does come up. Not going to go out of position just yet. They're going to keep doing the dance, and now they have to worry about Oni minions. Remember, that left side Phoenix is a little weakened, so if an Oni wave pushed in,
it's getting it.
It would take a while, but it would end up getting that left side Phoenix. So
Yeah.
Someone from the Wargs is going to have to deal with the Oni minions in left. I imagine sending Sarpei probably the smart call just because of that global presence. But that fight went really well, I think, because Sarpei was able to wrap around the backline and blow up Toddy before it even began. I don't imagine they let that happen twice.
I know we have to look at power spikes. 6th item slotted for a majority of the Gladiators, still trying to be bought for a majority of the Wargs. And if you ever need a true gap of the gold differential, look at Calvin and Kha'Zix. 2 full items up for Calvin, plus the upgraded relics. You got to feel pretty solid about that one.
You got to feel a little bad for Kha'Zix, though. Like
It just hurts on the other side. Maybe some aggression. Calvin goes in. Big ult. Good stun. That's going to be the engage for the team. But is it going well for them? Lystemix is going deep. Takes a lot of poke. All it takes is a small knockup. It doesn't even matter. The crash from Sarpei is too late. Spudio gets the kill onto the Guan Yu. And then Kha'Zix trades out their life trying to get the disengage. Good stun from the Agni. Makes sure that they're able to escape a little bit further. There goes Spudio. And you have to imagine now, that is looking like a tasty, free Fire Giant.
Yeah, and that Oni minion we were talking about, good's going in. Sarpei blinks but doesn't find the kill. And now, unfortunately, Bevimonsta has to clear out those Oni minions, so it's just Aitori in mid lane to try and go for a defense. And you already called it. There's no way that Enhanced Fire Giant is going to be contested. The Gilded Gladiators, 33 minutes in. Not as free as we would have thought considering the gold lead, but finally do get their hands on this Enhanced Fire Giant. Unfortunately for Lystemix, 16 seconds off. Are they going to save it? I was going to say, because no one's around, they have the ability to save it. They've got the healing from Calvin. It looks like they are going to make sure that their Guan Yu also gets this Enhanced Fire Giant buff. So, EFG on 5, 33 minutes in. The gold lead has shrunk up a bit since then, but sitting at about 9,000 once these objectives start coming down. And I imagine the same sort of play, right? They're going for that left side Phoenix. It's a little bit weak at the moment, so they've got time to just split the map up. But because it's EFG, I mean, you could send Mass Kill down mid, take the 1v1 with Sarpei, no beads for a solid 80 seconds. So that's going to be an easy 1v1, I feel, for Mass Kill. There's just no real survivability there. Sarpei can stun. The beads are up for Mass Kill as well. It's just, I would be doing a 4-1 split for sure and looking to get aggressive. But the Wargs, they're going for the Hail Mary. I think they're going to hide behind a corner here, see who walks up, see if they can get a pick, take EFG off someone. They just don't have any good targets besides Calvin, who's already here at the wave.
I always love plays like this. Mainly when they work out. Otherwise, you just kind of stand here for a little while and see what you can do. You have to play this carefully as well. Calvin is not alone. There are 4 members standing behind him for the Gladiators. But still the ambush, laying in wait. No vision, no wards dropped. Calvin's going to get jumped on. There's the stun, but it's not enough. Instead, it's the heal. It's the turnaround. They're looking for a little bit more in retaliation on the side of the Gladiators. But where is the pressure going to go? None of the carries are touched. Sarpei goes for a knock-up, immediately burned down, but manages to dash out of there. Bevimonsta goes in. Massive Pillar of Agony, but no follow-up. Nothing to work with. And so destroyed on the spot. Sarpei gets out, Bevy dies, and the Gladiators keep the EFG and keep surging forward.
I mean, I really did like that call, Gore, but it just didn't seem very well executed. I mean, Sarpe sort of went in when the rest of the Wargs were retreating, and then Bevy was like, oh, you're going in, I'm going to go in, but then Sarpe was retreating, so a very split engagement in that sense. So, yeah, you got some low health bars, you got some ultimates down, but take a look at the health bars. It really doesn't matter. They're all full HP because of the healing, and now the Gilded Gladiators able to grab that left side bird, surging forward. They want this mid Phoenix as well.
Yeah, surprised they aren't maybe pushing for the end. 20 seconds without Bevy Monster to work with. Phoenix is going to be free here, and they're just going to go for the safe play. Make sure they can get all 3 of these Phoenixes. With Enhanced Fire Giant, they don't have too much to worry about. Maybe some damage that could come out from the Wargs here. They just need to pick this one up. Bevy Monster is going to be respawning soon. They also need to play carefully. Sarpe up onto the tree branches. Has used almost every leap to get in. The last leap to get out. That's going to be the Gladiator stepping forward. Bevy Monster is going to join the fray. And is looking to maybe go for a loop around. No ult available just yet for the Hades. Healing still good, like you said. Full health bars on the side of the Gladiators. Stuns. Solid. But it's looking like the Wargs might make a defense right here on the right side, Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, the Gladiators are in a good position now to stall out until those... Oh, never mind. It looks like Calvin's going to blink in immediately and pop that ult.
Tries for more, tries to get something done, but is it the Phoenix or is it kills that are the goal? Bevy Monster's low, but not low enough. The Hades able to escape and is walking away slowly. Kali wants something, the destruction has popped, but it doesn't seem to be enough for Maskill to commit to it. In fact, Maskill taken down. Sarpe gets into the back line and tries to get out of here. Ult in perfect time. And now Sarpe has the choice. Go in for a knock-up, maybe cause some trouble. Fall back, stay safe, be happy with the kill you got. The Gladiators repelled at the base, but 3 Phoenixes down for the Wargs. Feels like it's a ticking time bomb for the Gladiators to try and capitalize on.
Yeah, if that defense happened before that Phoenix went down, definitely a better spot for the Wargs to be in. But, you know, 3 Phoenixes down is usually a death sentence. We just saw it in the last game that it's not always a death sentence. You know, it does happen that the Gilded Gladiators were able to claw their way back in from a terrible situation. But now Calvin, double dashing at the mid camp, is going to be getting poked out here. This is going to be such a back and forth game now. The Wargs in position to try and go up for another pick, but this is the same spot again that the Wargs were putting the Gladiators in last time, where it was just so many birds down. Even when you get a pick like that, what can you do? Can you push out? Can you look for all of these waves? You have to have 2 people back constantly clearing out these fire waves. It does not get any easier. It's a tall, tall hill to climb. But the Gilded Gladiators have lost their Enhanced Fire Giant on everyone. Should be spawning back here in about 20 seconds. And with 3 Phoenixes down, they got Calvin without 30 seconds. It looks like the Wargs are going to try to go for a pull immediately when this EFG spawns in, or whoever walks up, they'll go for the fight on. I like this call. You don't have to worry about the fire minions for a bit. Just look for a pick, but Lestemix is behind everyone. Did he not see them? Oh, no.
Oh, no. And it's immediately, like the minute the vision gets there, you could see him go, no. Run away.
They're going for the
stay
end.
alive. They're going for fire, while the team on the other side is going for the end. You can have an Enhanced Fire Giant. What does it mean if your Titan is dead? The Gladiators rushing forward. Do they have the damage?
Oh,
They've got the time. They've got the window, and they've got this set 2-0.
I mean, the Gladiators, again, saw from last game, like, hey, our Titan was really low, and the Wargs, like, never went on it. What if we just ended? And that's exactly what they did.
What if we did what we think they should have been done?
Yeah, I mean, once Lestemix caught all of them out there, he's like, wait, guys, their base is kind of free. Like, do you guys just want to walk up and end? And as long as you've got Kali Destruction, she can tank that Titan for plenty of time. So a great call there. Just knowing your DPS, knowing that, hey, if you're on EFG, we have 3 Phoenixes down. There's no way that we are not going to be ending this game. And the Gilded Gladiators are going to take that one 2-0.
Yeah, well played. I mean, being able to find that kind of lead, right? A lot of that game does not feel like it's that much in jeopardy for them, right? A late game comp with a 10k gold lead and a ridiculous amount of kills. I mean, it was 10-2 at one point. At that point, it's just, okay, cool, can we keep translating this? And instead, it's, okay, Wargs, what do you got for us? Like, what kind of miracle plays are you going to be able to make? Because it's got to be one after another, and then maybe you're even at that point. Unfortunately for them, they were able to start making one, but never the after another or the after another, and it falls a little flat. The Gladiators get to stand out on top this time around and feel really solid about the way today went, Trelly. And I think a lot of it, you highlighted Mass Kill, I think in game number one was one of the most important. I would say the same thing here in game two. This Kali, very, very solidly played.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the Kali was super impactful. I do have to give a bit of credit over to Sarpei as well. When the team was down, this Ratatosker was finding some pretty key picks to make sure that the game never ended, but it just seemed like, again, 3 Phoenixes down, you really should be able to wrap this one up pretty cleanly. Toddy was able to find some good leads both times, and there was a lot of pressure put towards the back line, I think, of both of these squads.
Oh, yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, the carries, I think, did a good job of peeling for each other. Calvin, good setup throughout the game. I think this Terra is a very strong pick for a reason. There's a lot of healing that goes into play that I think Lystemix also had a lot to do with, but the setup and the CC that Terra provides makes your carries' jobs pretty easy. So we got to see a lot of the shredding and a lot of the just, burning through these tanky targets, but the setup for those kills also going to be pretty clean. So, just a very well-played set by the Gladiators. It's not easy to come back from a gold deficit like that. So doing that in game one and then just running through in game number two with minimal problems, and I think, shouts out to them.
Still technically a gold comeback, right? Like the Wargs were up like 1,500 or something before the Gladiators started to roll. Like, 'cause they got that 4-kill swing, 6 minutes in or something ridiculous like that, and it brought them to even. Like that is wild with the amount of pressure I think that the Wargs were able to pick up and kind of burn through for the first few minutes. Unfortunate for them that lead disappeared then, because they never got it back, and the Gladiators were able to stand by and far ahead throughout this one. Still very fun to watch, though, and I think actually kind of entertaining for how Europe is going to be shaking out. Again, this is a team that, at least in the Wargs, I thought looked good against Hex Mambo last week. And so now we'll have to see how well they'll do, not just this week, but which we've already seen, but next week and the weeks going forward. Because unfortunately for them, that is the only time that they get to play this week. Same thing for the Gladiators. Still a couple of matches to be seen, as you can tell here by the schedule. The Ravens, the Scorpions going to be coming up next. If I remember correctly, Scorpions being able to find a win over these Gladiators just last week. So that'll be interesting how these teams will shake out. And I believe 2 undefeated teams are going to be playing against each other tomorrow morning, the Mambo and the Ferryman. So that is going to change. If you look at the standings, though, this is an important one for both of these teams. The Gladiators managing to climb up depending on how this next set goes and how one goes later. We're going to have a couple of teams potentially at 1-1, maybe 2-0 by the end of this week. We'll have to see how that shakes out for the Scorpions and the Mambo with their sets. But unfortunately for the Wargs right now, they are alone at 0-2. And again, implications, Trelly, we're looking not just at, how are you going to do? Are you going to be able to be in the top 4 for the phase, or for a Masters this time? It's like, no. We're talking Worlds implications. Yeah. We're talking big tournaments. We're talking a lot of money on the line for you. So every win, every loss right now means a ton for your standings in this regard.
Yeah, and that's what's really unfortunate, because again, I do think the Wargs played a really solid set throughout. Just some, some early aggression from the Gilded Gladiators that really just brought this one in their favor. But despite that, the Gilded Gladiators, man, they're looking clean. They're looking, you said, what does taking a loss in week number 1 mean? I think the Gilded Gladiators are saying, like, that was a fluke. We're going to be playing at the top of our game throughout the rest of this phase.
It means you got to step it up, and so far they have, right? A nice 2-0 win for them today means that they're looking good. And we'll have to see how they fare next week if you're watching for the Gladiators. Still, more EU action coming up soon. We're going to take